The man was born with a natural severed meridian. The doctor even asserted that he wouldn't live past 20, but no one knew. The man possessed unparalleled martial arts talent. Any technique, as long as he glanced at it, he could learn. At just the age of 10, has already become a martial arts master capable of creating techniques. But when the man showed the techniques he created to his father, he was met with insults. Do you really think you are a great master? You killed your mother the moment you were born. Now, you want to use this garbage technique to poison our whole family? After that, the man fell deeper into despair. I never wanted to be a great master. All these years of practicing martial arts were just to make my body healthy. Suddenly, the noisy sounds in the courtyard interrupted his thoughts. Hurry up. I heard that the masters from the Central South sect are coming today. The Central South sect is one of the 9 sects in the martial world. It is known as the top sect in Shaanxi. But the arrival of the Central South sect made the man even angrier. His father had already forbidden him from approaching the distinguished guests arriving today, just because he caused his mother to die in childbirth. How could such an unlucky person approach the noble? After some consideration, the man still slowly moved closer to the crowd. Looking from a distance should be fine, right? Maybe I can learn something if they demonstrate their skills. At this moment, several figures slowly walked into the Zheng family gate. The leading person shocked everyone. He is actually a member of the ethnic. The ethnic group is a legendary mysterious race. They possess the ability to live forever. To humans, they are like immortals. Moreover, he has no fluctuations in aura. This kind of internal power is completely contained within his body. It's simply terrifying. Seeing this, the man's father quickly approached respectfully to greet him. Your presence at my humble abode truly brings me great honor. I am Zheng Daming, the head of the Zheng family. In front of you, the young lady quickly responded, we should thank you for your hospitality. I am Elder Lu from the Central South sect. Hearing this, Lu Shan realized this person was an elder. The surrounding crowd bowed their heads in even greater respect. Zheng Daming quickly turned to invite Lu Shan into the house. At this moment, Lu Shan, however, remained calm and unhurried. He turned his head and scanned the surroundings. To his surprise, he made an unexpected discovery. He then pointed at the family head in front. Your son has clear eyes. He has great wisdom. He is someone who can be cultivated. Zheng Daming, upon hearing this, changed his expression. My third son has lacked proper upbringing since childhood. He is a problematic child. However, the man did not continue to stay there. He turned and returned to his residence. Seeing these people, my horizons have been greatly broadened. During this time, the self-created technique has not improved. I was troubled about what to practice next. Just then, I had an inspiration. Practicing swordsmanship is also a good choice. The few members of the Central South sect who returned to the house began to discuss. The energy of this place is so good. No wonder the sword dominant sect wants to obtain it. Our counterattack plan is good, but I worry it will sacrifice this family. 2 disciples nearby immediately spoke confidently. We can deal with them before they enter the courtyard. We can resolve them. Upon hearing this, Lu Shan did not continue to speak. With a worried expression, I hope so. The sword dominant sect is our greatest enemy among the righteous. Although I am worried about this matter, ever since I saw that child, I have kept thinking about it. Among the crowd, only that child appeared so clear. What is so special about him? As night deepened, the man continued to study the technique. Why is my Bai Hui Q point so large? After a year of cultivation, the energy in my head is still gradually increasing. If it continues at this rate, in less than 5 years, I will die. If I can't find a solution, I only have these few years to live. What should I do? Can I really stop death from approaching? Suddenly, a strong killing intent surged from the distant courtyard. The man looked towards the blood-soaked courtyard. The intense killing intent continued to spread. Then he picked up his sword and hurried over. The closer he got, the stronger the smell of blood became. And the courtyard was too quiet now. What exactly happened? What is at the entrance of the courtyard? Could it be a formation? In the next moment, he directly charged into the formation, instantly leaving him stunned. The servants, who were clearly alive during the day, were now all corpses. This surprised the man a bit. Such a thing happened in Zhang's village. I actually didn't notice. Could it be because of the formation? Suddenly a voice came from behind the man. There are actually still people alive. You fool, you barely saved your life. You should just hide obediently. The few people behind laughed loudly. Maybe he's just a short-lived ghost. Let's send him on his way. The burly man in front gathered his internal energy and stepped forward to crush the man's skull. This is your fate. Don't blame me. But the man showed no fear at all. He reached out and directly grabbed the burly man's wrist. With just a slight exertion of his hand, the burly man's hand was instantly crushed. This scene immediately made everyone around stop their actions and look over. The few quickly drew their swords. Kid, who are you? But the man did not hesitate and drew his sword. With one strike, he directly decapitated the burly man. Then he swiftly moved in front of the few people. His sword continuously swung. In a few quick movements, he killed 2 more people. Then he used his lightness skill again and appeared in front of the few people behind. The sword light continuously flashed across their bodies. When the man stopped his actions, all the people were lying in a pool of blood. Kill everyone. Only then did the man let out a long breath. It's the first time using a sword today. It feels pretty good. At this moment, a few people slowly walked out from behind. This kid has some skills, but just a little. Only these careless fools would be killed by him. The man looked at the few people and spoke. Are you from the Bloodline sect? The few laughed out loud. The Bloodline sect is those fools lying on the ground. We are subordinates of the Sword Dominant sect, the 13 most evil and powerful sects in the world, known as the 13 Heavens. They are actually from the Bloodline sect of the 13 Heavens, and sent by the Sword Dominant sect. Why would you come to our small place? What do you big powers want to do in our small county? At this moment, the few still hadn't made a move. They just wanted the man to leave. Hearing this, the man suddenly laughed. You didn't attack me. And you want me to leave. Do you know me well? You should know. In the imperial city of the world's #1 sect, is my mother's family, right? If you kill me, even the Sword Dominant sect would have to think twice, wouldn't they? Suddenly, a loud explosion erupted from behind the wall. Then a few people rolled out. They were actually disciples of the Central South sect who came here during the day. Among them, Elder Lu Zhanjing of the Central South sect was also thrown out. At this moment, he could only support himself with his sword, barely standing on the ground. This shocked the man greatly. The so-called Sword Immortal of the Central South sect was actually in such a sorry state. Who exactly is the enemy? At this moment, a figure floated in the air. A man, exuding a powerful aura, slowly appeared. Who is he? This person radiated a terrifying aura that instilled fear. Just a glance from him is enough to make one dizzy. Just now, several disciples of the Sword Dominant sect quickly knelt and greeted the sect leader. The man trembled all over. He is actually the leader of the Sword Dominant sect, one of the 13 leaders of evil and wicked paths. The Sword Dominant sect, known in the martial world as a natural disaster. Such a person standing at the top of the martial world. Why would he come to the small Zheng family village? Now, everyone in the Central South sect is injured. If this continues, we will all die. Since we are all going to die, then we might as well try the next moment. The man unleashed all his power, charging forward. Seeing this, one of them quickly drew his sword and stepped forward. But he was shot through the heart by the man with a single arrow. Then he stood straight in place. Do you think you can kill me? Several disciples immediately drew their long swords. They were about to charge forward to kill. Suddenly, the master of the sword dominant sect shouted to stop. Kid, you are worth more than everyone in this entire manor combined. All must excel, so I can spare your life. The man, however, was fearless. You wouldn't dare to kill me, would you? I am the grandson of the former leader of the Imperial City Divine Sword Group. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd around was shocked. His background is actually so terrifying. The royal family established the Imperial City, the first sect in the martial world to prevent rebellion. They are indeed quite tricky for me, but my sparing your life is not for this reason. I admire you, your talent and spirit. As a person of the martial world, you are capable of unifying the realm. If you have no connection to the Imperial City, I even want to take you as my disciple, so I give you one day. Hurry and leave. I cannot allow other sects to enter this land again. Then, he turned and left the courtyard with the members of the dominant sword sect. If you want to spar, I am always ready. Hurry up and grow stronger. I am looking forward to it. Then the man quickly walked into the house. He saw that his father and brother, most had already fallen in a pool of blood. Knowing everything that had just happened outside, Zhang Daming was incredulous. Why are you so strong? The man looked coldly at his father. Have you forgotten? I once said, the martial arts I created myself. Zhang Daming's pupils suddenly widened. It is my fault. That caused the Zhang family to lose their divine skills. I am truly a foolish head of the family. Son, since you have such talent, I believe you can become a great master. Then he, unable to support himself, slowly closed his eyes. At this moment, only the man and he remained in the Zhang family. His second brother and the youngest sister were still alive. The man turned to his second brother and spoke. Take him to the Central South sect. This child has a high level of comprehension. I will accept him. At this time, Lushan also walked over. Young hero, are you planning to go to the Imperial City? Why not go to Zhongnan Mountain with me? I will recommend you to be the sect leader. When the disciple said this, it shocked the people around Zhongnan Mountain, but Lushan continued, young hero, I believe you have this qualification. This made the man fall into deep thought. The direct disciple of the sect, leader of the Zhongnan sect, can learn unparalleled divine skills. Most importantly, the current sect leader of the Zhongnan sect is one of the top 10 swordsmen in the world. But then the man still clasped his fists and said, Senior, thank you for your kindness. I'm sorry for my choice. Lushan said lightly, you don't need to worry about it. The door of Zhongnan is always open to you. I hope you can remember this. The man suddenly took Lushan aside to the Grand Elder. I want to ask you something. Do you know the method to obtain the World Tree Fruit? Upon hearing this, Lushan was stunned by the World Tree Fruit. Could it be that you, young hero, are in poor health? The World Tree Fruit, it is said, is a timeless treasure that grants immortality when consumed. If I get him to eat this fruit, will my remaining lifespan increase? Lushan then shook his head. I haven't even reached half of my own lifespan. How would I know about the Tomb of the World? Currently, the only person who possesses the fruit is the Lord of the Imperial City. This will not be easy. That thing is seen as a sacred object by everyone in the world. It is a divine item. Although the man's mood was heavy, his tone was still incredibly firm. But aside from that, I have no other choice. Only by becoming the leader of the Divine Sword Group can I achieve great merit. Lushan clasped his hands and said, I can only pray and cheer for you from afar, young hero. I must return to my sect to deliver the news first. You two can help handle the aftermath here for now. As the sun gradually rose, the man also set off. Li bid farewell to the remaining few. After a period of time in Zhongyang City, the man had already arrived at the Imperial City. A familiar person walked up to the man and said, Little brother, do you also want to enter the Imperial City? It's the first time I've seen a challenger younger than me. My name is Zhua Nguyen. And I came from Shaanxi to participate in the Imperial City assessment. The man looked completely bewildered. I can't believe there's an assessment to enter the Imperial City. This shocked Zuanyuan. You actually don't know about the Imperial family? The Imperial City is different from other ordinary sects. Wanting to become an official is like taking a liberal arts exam. To enter the Imperial City, you must take an exam. That's why so many people gather at the Imperial City, regardless of whether you have a background or not. The moment you enter the Imperial City, you will have the opportunity to learn. Of course, martial artists from all over the world will flock here. In order to enter the Imperial City, there are nearly 1,000 people participating in the assessment every day, so the content of the assessment is incredibly difficult. So, little brother, how about we go take the exam together tomorrow? The man saw someone introducing themselves for him. It's something I've been longing for, he quickly agreed. The next morning, countless heroes gathered like ants at the entrance of the Imperial City. And for this first exam, if the examiner takes the token from your hand, you pass. If you hand the token to the reception desk, you fail. The second exam is a martial arts competition. The third exam is a face-to-face interview with the Lord of the Imperial City. Many martial artists come to see the Lord, specifically, traveling to Zhangyang to converse with such experts. It's a kind of opportunity. Perhaps just a few casual words could lead someone to understand the essence of martial arts. The examiner suddenly spoke. The first exam begins. It's a test of quick swordplay. You can only use one move. Show me your fastest sword technique. Then I, as the examiner, will judge. Zuanyuan immediately excitedly ran out. I'll go first. The man felt a bit relaxed about this assessment. The fastest sword technique? Sounds simple, right? And ahead, Zuanyuan, his body, constantly gathered internal energy into the long sword in his hand. As he exhaled a breath, the long sword swiftly drew out with a whoosh. The onlookers immediately began to discuss. This martial artist is a bit different. I can't even see the sword being swung. Only a flash of white light passed by. After some consideration, the examiner directly took his token. After Zuanyuan stepped back, the man also slowly walked forward. The people around felt something unusual. Is he really a candidate? He still looks like a teenager. Could it be that an adult brought him here to play? The man stepped forward, and in the blink of an eye, he swung the long sword. But after the long sword stopped, the venue was suddenly filled with the raging wind. This scene not only shocked the onlookers, but even the examiner widened his eyes in astonishment. When exactly did he draw his sword? I didn't even see the action of drawing the sword. The examiner gave the man the highest praise. You are the future number 13 of the Imperial City. Very well, I will remember you. Now, you can leave. Go back and wait for the second exam. Seeing the man walk out of the examination hall, Zuanyuan hurriedly caught up to him. Are you a descendant of a prestigious family? The man stared straight at the city lord's mansion. What difference does it make? Once you enter the Imperial City, isn't it all about relying on your own efforts? Soon, the second examination venue gathered countless successful candidates. Zuanyuan began to introduce the man to the second round. What you need to remember in this round is, the focus of the competition is not to win, but to impress the experts of the Imperial City nearby. This point is precisely the most difficult. Because even if you win all your matches, you could still be eliminated. Today's assessment is still the most difficult one in recent assessments. I heard that the White Qilin also participated in the exam today, before he turned 15. He single-handedly destroyed the notorious bandit group. He killed the underworld expert Ushik. At 18, he participated in the Dragon and Phoenix meeting of the 8 great families. Defeating his peers, he is a young talent. This left the man somewhat puzzled. As a descendant of the Nangong family, he is already quite perfect. With such high martial skills, why still strive so hard? Zuanyuan quietly leaned into the man's ear. It might be because he is a bastard and cannot become the head of the family in the imperial city, rising to the group leader, can rival the heads of the 8 great families, or even hold a higher status than them. The existence of this place is to protect the order of the martial world. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out. Nanyang, Xinye County, Henan Province. Zheng Wenyan entered the room. The man heard this and walked straight towards the room. I hope to see you again in the imperial city. Zuanyuan was taken aback for a moment, then shouted loudly, "It's settled then." Imperial city. Seeing the man had just entered the room, a swordsman drew his long sword. "Kid, you're unlucky to run into me. I am quite famous in the martial world." But before he could finish his words, the man swiftly dodged. With a swing of the sword sheath, he sent him flying out. This person is so weak that it surprised the man a bit. What kind of tough talk is he trying to put on? Suddenly, a figure in white slowly walked out from behind. "Can we start now?" The appearance of this person immediately sparked discussions among everyone around. People in the imperial city also began to discuss. He finally appeared. Which of those high-ups do you think will take him away? He's much stronger than us. From these discussions, the man also realized who the person in front of him was. This guy must be the White Kirin that Zuanyuan just mentioned. He looks about 5 years older than me. This mountain should be able to be crossed, given time. Though I benefit from my power technique, my body is stronger than his. But in other aspects, I know I am not as good. The White Kirin cupped his hands and spoke to the man. "I am Nangong Huacan from the Nangong family. I practice the family's martial arts, Skiles' sword and infinite steps. Please give me your guidance." The man also gripped his long sword tightly with both hands. "I practice the power technique from Zheng family village in Henan." The White Kirin quietly watched the person in front of him, not in a hurry to make a move, but still puzzled as to why he didn't draw his sword. At this moment, the man tightly gripped the sword handle with one hand, striking a pose as if to draw his sword. It seems the White Kirin also understands. The long sword in his hand continuously gathered power. The man's internal energy was constantly compressed in his palm. The key to the sword techniques I've been practicing recently lies in being unexpected. Strike a fatal blow when the opponent is unprepared. If luck is on my side, perhaps I can launch an attack on this rising star. Suddenly, both of them were ready. The examiner beside them shouted to start. In an instant, a flash of sword light passed by. The man's long sword directly swept past the White Kirin, but as the two swords clashed, the man's long sword broke into 2 pieces. This scene was an outcome that no one had anticipated. What is going on here? Did the White Kirin win? I didn't even see him draw his sword. At this moment, the man stared blankly at the long sword in his hand. Where did the problem lie? Yet the White Kirin announced on the spot that I lost. A few of the examiners in the imperial city saw through the trick. This kid's swordsmanship is astonishingly fast. And he is also 5 years younger than the White Kirin. The White Kirin then slowly approached the man. "You didn't use true energy in your swordsmanship, did you? You can try it next time. There's a hidden dragon in Henan. Your future is limitless." One of the examiners stepped forward and spoke to the man. "There's a garden to the north. Wait there." Before leaving, the man respectfully cupped his hands to thank the White Kirin. "Please guide me again next time." The White Kirin smiled. "This should have been said by me. We will continue next time." The people in the imperial city were also somewhat puzzled. What a genius! But why didn't he use true energy on the sword just now? Yet they all didn't know that just a few days ago, the man was still at home, a waste that everyone despised. Now, all his martial arts were learned by watching others practice. I didn't know before that I could do without it, but now I already know that there is such a method. In the next moment, the internal energy within the man's body continuously gathered on the broken sword. A piercing sound of the sword's cry erupted from the broken sword. The man merely glanced at the broken sword in his hand, which, surprisingly, made him realize the true essence of the swordsmanship that everyone dreams of. The sounds of swords continued to resonate around him. This scene shocked all the top experts in the martial world. He still seems like a teenager, right? Yet he comprehended the unity of man and sword. If he were to perform sword techniques in this state, it would unleash unparalleled power. At this moment, the man felt the connection with the sword, and smiled as he opened his eyes. A voice also appropriately sounded beside the man. "Congratulations, you succeeded." And this person was the White Kirin who had just sparred with the man. This scene left the man somewhat stunned. Is he protecting me? Afraid that someone might disturb me and mislead me. Then he slowly spoke, "Thank you for protecting me. And congratulations to young hero Nangong for passing the exam." At this time, Zuanyuan also stepped forward, looking aggrieved. "I've been here for a long time too. But young Master Zheng, you now have a nickname. Do you know that in the martial world, having a nickname is a very honorable thing? It represents that most people in the martial world recognize you." The White Kirin also spoke up. "I've heard about it too. It's a very good title. The nickname given to you by the warriors of the Flashing Shadow Imperial City may accompany you for a lifetime." At this time, the man also became humble. "I'm just a little guy who can use a fast sword." The White Kirin looked at the man with disdain. "Then according to your statement, what does it make me, who didn't notice your attack?" Soon, the third round of the assessment began. As long as you pass the final checkpoint, you will be the warriors of the Imperial City. The man looked at the towering buildings and living history, renowned as the world's #1 unparalleled master of the Imperial City. A face-to-face meeting? Then, according to the rankings, people keep walking into the tall building, but none come out without disappointment. Soon, it was the man's turn. He walked in with firm steps. When he reached the top floor, what came into his view was a woman lying on a wooden chair. Could she be the lord of the Imperial City, the #1 in the world? Looking at the visitor before her, the lord of the Imperial City immediately spoke up. "You seem to be the descendant of that child, right?" The man was somewhat shocked, but still responded, "Yes. I am the grandson of the former leader of the Divine Sword Group." The lord seemed to reminisce and smiled slightly. That child could have become the chief of the Elder Council, but he preferred to do things his own way. "But you seem to be injured." The man was instantly stunned. Then he quickly recovered. "This matter has nothing to do with the lord. It's just some family trivialities." "That's not just trivialities. It's just that you have trained well, and have covered up your injuries, and you are only 15 years old now. But as an outsider, I really can't say much. You need to resolve your own issues." Then he stood up and slowly approached the man. "I admire you very much right now. You clearly have a request. But your spirit of not bowing to me is truly interesting." The man instantly understood. He already knew my background in the Imperial City. "Is it for a request?" "It makes sense. For someone like this unparalleled master, discovering my Danshan's Bai Hui point should be easy. Then let me ask him directly. For someone like me, can I survive after eating the fruit of the world's wood?" The Lord smiled. "Although the effect of the fruit is somewhat exaggerated, it can indeed fulfill your wishes." After confirming the information, the man spoke again. "So can I obtain it?" "That depends on your performance. Now, you are a person of the Imperial City. You may leave now. I have high hopes for you." The next leader of the Divine Sword Group. After hearing this, the man walked out of the building in a daze. The next leader of the Divine Sword Group. I really can't tell if he's joking with me, or if he really acknowledges my abilities, or rather, hints that as long as I become the leader of the Divine Sword Group, I can obtain the fruit of the world's wood. Soon, the third round of the assessment ended. After the final round, only 4 people qualified in total. The leader in front spoke, "Everyone, do you know what the main purpose of the imperial city is?" Zhuan Yuan immediately spoke up. "Isn't it to suppress the rebellion of martial arts masters?" The leader turned back to glance at a few people. "That's both right and wrong. But that is not our main job. Rather, it is the purpose of our existence. We still have many trivial matters to handle, which is to prevent and suppress certain scale conflicts in the martial world. The conflicts in the martial world can lead to unknown consequences. If rumors of some unparalleled martial arts arise, the Central Plains will be swept by a bloody storm. If it's just ordinary martial artists, then it's fine. But some demonic sects are different. You will see scenes like hell. Recently, the martial world has been quite unstable. It's not just the evil and heretical forces causing trouble, but also the righteous sects, including the 9 factions and 8 major families, which is a big problem. Ignoring them will not only harm the common people, but could seriously endanger the operation of the country. So, the royal family provides you experts with huge resources, spiritual medicines and secret manuals. What you need to do in the imperial city is to take the heads of the martial artists who disrupt the livelihood of the people. Alright, this is where you will be staying. After being assigned to each small team, you will move into the team dormitories. Soon a week passed. A knock on the door sounded. Then Zhuan Yuan walked in from outside. "I heard the small teams have already been assigned. You and I are part of the Demon Broad team." The next day at the Demon Broad martial arts arena, the man stood in the center with Zhuan Yuan, surrounded by martial artists from Li Huang City in white and blue uniforms. And standing in front of them is the leader of the Demon Broad, Ma Zhen. Ma Zhen is rumored to be the top among the 17 captains of Li Huang City. At this moment, Ma Zhen was staring fiercely at the man. "Are you the Shadow Flash?" The man, however, remained unfazed. He stared intently at Ma Zhen. Suddenly, Ma Zhen started to laugh. "Quite bold, aren't you? People like you usually don't die easily." The armed forces under the Divine Sword team of Li Huang City, just like the sects of the Central Plains. You will learn martial arts at the Demon Broad. Carry out missions. They are your senior brothers and sisters. However, your exclusive martial arts skills are still exclusive. What we teach is the martial arts of the Demon Broad. The Demon Broad is among the 17 teams in Li Huang City, very famous. Their martial arts are also renowned in the martial world. Once fought against the elite masters of the Huashan sect. In the Battle of the 24 Plum Blossom Swordsmen, not a single person was injured. This matter established the foundation for Li Huang City to be the #1 in the world. Ma Zhen continued to explain to them. Li Huang City is a sect established by the royal family. However, attacking the warriors of Li Huang City is not considered treason, so you must keep learning here. Work hard to become stronger. If you don't become stronger, you will die. There's another guy over there who, while on a mission, was struck by the first sword of Nangong. You can let him tell you about it." A young man in blue, sitting in the corner, spoke up. "The imperial sword of the Nangong family. Indeed, it is a terrifying martial art." Seeing this person, the man felt it was unbelievable. The imperial sword is known as the #1 sword in the world. He actually fought against a master of the Nangong's first sword, and came back alive. Then the young man in blue slowly walked forward. "Since you all are here, I'll test your martial arts. Let's start with you, Shadow Flash. I've heard your quick sword is exceptional. Let everyone see your strength." At this moment, the man also did not hesitate, and slowly walked out with his long sword. In the next moment, countless internal energies surged into the sword sheath. The young man also unceremoniously took out his long sword. "My name is King Ming. I look forward to your guidance. This is a pill that can turn an ordinary person into an unparalleled master. Just swallow the pill, and the spiritual essence gathered between heaven and earth will continuously flow into your body. Even an ordinary person who swallows it will be able to possess the ability to sense any subtle clues around them, but to obtain the pill, one must challenge those stronger than themselves and defeat more powerful warriors. Seeing the man in white, he actually wanted to challenge the warrior in blue. The people of the Power Emperor City are also extremely curious. There is a very large gap between the man in white and the man in blue. How many moves can this kid withstand? Moreover, he is still someone who has just entered our Power Emperor City. 10 moves might be a bit difficult. I see the blue-clothed warrior looking ahead. You are the white-clothed one, right? The man respectfully returns the gesture, looking at the person in front. Many have spent decades transitioning from white to blue. It has taken them many years. So the blue-clothed warriors in the Imperial City are definitely not inferior to the top experts of various sects. The blue-clothed warrior slowly speaks. I have practiced the Kenshin sword technique for 20 years. Although this is just an internal competition, the sword has no words. I will not hold back. Then he directly draws his long sword, unleashing the aura that only top swordsmen possess. The man lets out a light sigh. Draw the long sword. No need to think too much. A swordsman should fear nothing, no matter what kind of sword the opponent has. I just need to display my skills. In the next moment, the man swings his long sword. Stepping forward, he instantly arrives in front of the blue-clothed warrior. The blue-clothed warrior does not show weakness, blocking this attack. But the man's attack does not end. He swings his sword again. Following closely behind is the man's impenetrable sword, light descending. This series of combos forces the blue-clothed warrior to defend. Seeing this scene, the surrounding Kenshin team and Mo Guanji's leaders are all extremely shocked. This white-clothed one's speed is so fast. As the man continues to swing his sword, he gains another kind of insight. With each step forward and each sword swing, his own true energy also vibrates accordingly. At this moment, he instantly comprehends a new technique. He lowers his body, then the long sword extends upward. The sword body begins to vibrate rapidly. After one sword strike, the man actually cuts down the blue-clothed warrior's long sword. Seeing this scene, the surrounding Imperial City warriors erupted in excitement. The white-clothed one actually won. And with such a crushing victory, the man, however, is not complacent. This was just luck. I suddenly comprehended a new technique. Plus, from the very beginning, the opponent let me strike first. The momentum that erupted is what allowed me to win this round. If it happens again, I can't guarantee I could win like this. Then the man cupped his hands forward. Thank you for allowing me to witness the Kenshin sword technique. The blue-clothed warrior chuckles lightly, picking up the long sword. Your sword path and resilience surprised me greatly. Then slowly walked towards the door. If you were a few years older, you could probably defeat me in just a few moves. Mo Guanji has truly obtained a treasure. It's enviable. Mo Guanji's main horse slowly walks towards the man. This is Lin Dan from the Kenshin team that you won against. He is yours now. After a while, within a certain Guanji territory, countless people in blue began discussing the battle just now. That kid is simply a monster. Kenshin team's Yi Huan is quite strong. That kid actually defeated him, and can easily see through the opponent's martial arts. He is a genius like no other. Once, I practiced alongside others. That kid just took a glance, and was able to use the same principle to perform it. He could even improve it himself, to a power greater than what I could demonstrate. Now, I don't even dare to stand in front of that kid. I will use my unique martial arts now. Clearly the same. Also has this feeling. Yes, his comprehension is truly terrifying. Meanwhile, the man in the room has already seated himself on the mat. Ma Zhen is also beside him to protect him. I don't know how much of this elixir you can absorb. Generally speaking, you can absorb 6-7 layers. If you haven't reached this point, don't force yourself to absorb it. Acting recklessly will ruin your dantian. When your breath is unstable, I will step in to help you, so don't resist. Hearing this, the man quickly nodded. Taking advantage of the situation, he swallowed the elixir. The elixir had just entered the man's body. It instantly released a large amount of energy. In an instant, an invisible aura appeared around the man's body, isolating it from the surrounding air. The man's body at this moment was like a black hole, constantly absorbing the spiritual energy between heaven and earth. Watching this scene, Ma Zhen was somewhat shocked. Is this really his first time absorbing the elixir? He was too skilled. He didn't need my help at all. After a while, the aura in the room gradually decreased. Ma Zhen spoke with a face full of cold sweat. Congratulations on absorbing all the effects of the elixir. This kid is too outrageous. No one has ever absorbed the full effects of the elixir. In this situation, at this moment, the man sensed the changes happening in his body. After the internal energy was enhanced, I can actually sense the movements outside the house. I can even tell where a few people are standing. It's all very clear. But why are the seniors all here? Are they here to protect me while I absorb the elixir? The man directly stood up and asked Ma Zhen, are the seniors here to protect me? Why are they being so nice to me? Ma Zhen smiled. It's not just taking care of you alone. As long as they are from the demon sect, they will help each other. Our relationships are built in the martial world. After going through life and death together a few times, they become unbreakable. So the higher your martial arts skills, the more beneficial it is for us in the demon sect. At this moment, sensing the man absorbing, after the elixir was finished, the blue-clad warriors also dispersed in groups. The man had just finished absorbing and headed towards the training ground. I need to understand how much stronger I've become. At this moment, he saw Zhu Mai. Bai Miley looked at the man in shock. Old demon, you just finished absorbing and came to continue training? But you came at the right time. I just happened to have some insights. Do you have time to spar with me? The man immediately cupped his fists in response. It is my honor to spar with Senior Bai. The heroine merely struck out a palm at the man, but the man immediately saw the secrets within. Not only did he learn her technique, but he also found its weaknesses. And this set of skills is actually a secret, not passed down in the martial world. With just a light palm strike, he could break through the opponent's protective energy. After stopping, the man spoke to Zhu Mai. Senior Bai, I have been very sensitive to energy since I was young. From the earlier sparring, Senior, it seems you are not very good at using true energy. As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Miley was instantly stunned. You can actually see the flow of true energy? This is something no one has ever accomplished. The man immediately shook his head. Although I can't see true energy, I can judge it by the intensity and diffusion when exerting force. I can determine it. Bai Miley was still incredibly shocked. Even so, it's still very impressive. As far as I know, only Zi Yi can achieve this in the Power Emperor City. The ranking order in Power Emperor City is divided into white, blue, black, and purple. The one in purple is already at the very top of Power Emperor City. The man continued to speak. But Senior Bai, I feel that your palm technique transformation, using internal energy would be more appropriate. Upon hearing this, Bai Miley's expression changed. In your eyes, am I someone who can't even distinguish these things? I have my reasons for not using internal energy, but still, thank you for telling me this. After leaving the training ground, Bai Miley went directly to Ma Zhen's room. Master, have you talked to Shen Ying about the source of my martial arts? Ma Zhen felt a bit helpless. What are you talking about? I could never disclose such matters without consent. Could he have seen through it? Are you researching the long-lost heavenly demon, divine art? Bai Miley immediately nodded. I feel that way. Ma Zhen slowly stood up. That kid is very special. You can't find anyone as outstanding as him in the entire martial world. If I were to judge, Shan Ying is the future of Power Emperor City. Do you really want to thoroughly research the heavenly demon divine art? For now, the best method is to seek Shan Ying's help. That guy has the ability to adapt any martial art to suit himself like a grand master. As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Miley's pupils widened. You actually think he has the potential of a grandmaster? Ma Zhen slowly nodded. Yes. The only thing that is still uncertain is his character. Recently, there happens to be a small task. This time, observe how Shan Ying and his companions get through life and death crises together. See if he is a reliable person. After this test, I can be sure Shan Ying will definitely stand at the top of Power Emperor City within 5 years. So this time I need you old folks. See the character of the future boss with my own eyes. The next day, Bai Miley and Zuanyuan Qingming galloped on horseback with a few men on the official road. Soon, they arrived at the location of this task, Shaanxi Jinping County Post Station. Before setting off, Ma Zhen introduced the intelligence of this task to the group. Recently, there has been a cultist from the Bloodrock sect staying in a certain village, regularly killing livestock, destroying crops. This matter was originally supposed to be resolved by the Shaanxi headquarters, but recently, there was an incident of the Huashan sect's spiritual medicine being stolen, and that was a Zixio pill that could rival the Shaolin Temple's great elixir. Just because of this, it has caused quite a stir in Shaanxi. The branch office is short-staffed. That's why they asked us for help to handle these small matters. At this time, a middle-aged official in the post station angrily scolded the few newcomers. I originally heard that you were the sword of the empire and planned to treat you well, but what does your slow arrival mean? Moreover, you sent over a few small fries with you like this. Can you catch that culprit? Qingming immediately spoke to the few people among these officials. There are always some who don't know their place, especially in such a small county. Too many people have never seen a martial arts master, so officials like them need not be polite. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged official was instantly furious. You dare to be disrespectful to a court official? The man then pointed at the middle-aged official without hesitation. At the pressure point, we are not people who follow orders from someone like you, drunkard. A good-for-nothing. Then he headed towards the village. At this moment, the middle-aged official could not make a sound from his throat. He could not utter a single word. Just as they entered the village, a few of them noticed something unusual. Why are there still people in the fields at this late hour? As they focused their attention, they saw a knife-wielding Bloodrock cultist, laughing while holding a child. The situation was urgent. The man had no time to say more. He quickly rushed towards the fields, but unexpectedly Qingming, who had set off later, quickly overtook the man who was running fast, in just one breath. This scene shocked the man. So fast. Could this be the lightness skill of the nation? Every step seemed as if his toes never touched the ground. Then Bai Miley also closely followed and surpassed the man. Even Zuanyuan, after using his lightness skill, quickly rushed forward as well. Seeing this scene, the man immediately understood his shortcomings. I have never paid attention to lightness skills. Because I grew up in Zheng family village, there was never any real lightness skill demonstrated in front of me. And at this moment, in just a few breaths, Qingming had quickly arrived at the Bloodflame cult. He saw him slash fiercely with a sword, instantly sending the cultist flying. Then he snatched the baby from the Bloodflame cultist's hands. The cultist who received this blow was filled with fear. His hands trembled uncontrollably. People from the Imperial City, and they were in blue clothing. Seeing this, he turned and began to flee without hesitation. But unexpectedly, at this moment, Bai Miley had already arrived behind him, drawing her long knife. With no way to escape, he was suddenly engulfed in raging flames. In the next moment, he leaped, suddenly transformed into a beam of light rushing into the sky. This sudden scene left King Ming and Bai Miley a bit shocked. What is wrong with this guy? Just seeing us. He used a technique that burned his life to escape. These guys from the Blood Flame cult staying here must be a big problem. At this moment, the man and Zuanyuan approached the two, panting heavily. After settling the farmers, the few of them also found a place to rest. Bai Miley began to summarize this action for the two. Zuanyuan, although your martial arts have reached the white level, your stamina is very poor. You need to remember to focus on training your stamina in the future. And as for Shanying, your foundation is solid. But seeing how you run, I understand. Right now, your only outstanding quality is your physical fitness. You have never learned lightness skills at all. You can't even catch up to Zuanyuan, let alone King Ming, who is famous for his lightness skills in the Imperial City. King Ming looked at the young man in front of him, slowly lowered his head, and comforted him. Actually, you don't need to be sad about your lightness skills. Then he slowly walked forward. Shanying, do you want to learn my lightness skills? This left the man a bit stunned. Can I learn your lightness skills? King Ming immediately nodded. Although I can't pass on the martial arts of my sect to you, I can teach you lightness skills. And generally speaking, it's just lightness skills. Most people won't be able to learn it. But I believe if it's you can do it. But don't get too happy too soon. In the realm of magic, no one has learned the skill of mine yet. I have taught many people in the training ground, but not a single one succeeded in learning it. Then King Ming took a step forward and appeared on the tree as if flying. I call this technique a step away from heaven. The man just took a glance at him, using the legendary lightness skill. A step away from heaven actually made him feel the natural power contained in the opponent's martial arts. In an instant, countless streams of energy appeared around the man's body, surrounding his body. Then he took a step forward and immediately felt his body become incredibly light. At this moment, he dashed through the jungle like a sparrow. This set of martial arts evenly distributes my strength and speed. While maintaining powerful combat ability, I can also move quickly. At this time, after analyzing for a while, the man actually discovered something unusual ahead. In this deep mountain forest, there was actually a wooden house, and the owner was a person with red hair. Seeing this, the man planned to turn around, finally discovered the Blood Rock cultists. Now to go back and tell everyone. But just at the moment he turned his head, he saw a scene he would never forget. This Blood Rock cultist was actually holding a child and gnawing on them. An incredibly bloody and shocking scene, like a heavy hammer smashing into the man's heart. At this moment, he had no intention of going back to report to his teammates, silently walked out from the woods. At this time, his eyes and expression became unprecedentedly fierce. Blood Rock cultist, seeing the man walking out from the woods brightly, immediately put down the already dead child in his hands. You guys who established the Imperial City are really haunting, but you are also a fool. A little white-clothed one actually dares to come before me. Death is something you brought upon yourself. But before he could finish his words, a flash of sword light instantly passed through the Blood Flame cultist's neck. Then the lower half of that Blood Flame cultist continued to spurt blood. His head also fell off. After dealing with this person, the man felt no joy in his heart, but silently looked at the child's corpse on the ground, making him recall the time at Zheng family village. His own family was also indiscriminately killed by these cultists. Scenes of his family dying flashed through his mind. The power condensed on the sword body becomes stronger. These beasts-like guys absolutely cannot be let go. Otherwise, they will harm more people. Child, wait a moment. After I finish all of this, I will bury you. At this moment, the man's internal energy had already gathered around his body from the Danshan. His consciousness also locked onto the thatched house ahead. A sword energy erupted violently from the man's hand. Demonic, wide, absolute fast sword style. In an instant, the thatched house was struck by a powerful sword energy, instantly shattered into pieces. Among them, the blood flame cultist, who had no idea what was happening, was immediately cut into pieces. At this moment, the man showed no hesitation. Once again, he flashed in front of a blood flame cultist, with a swing of his sword, directly pierced the heart of that blood flame cultist. Aren't you blood flame cultists always advocating the survival of the fittest? How does it feel to be killed by a stronger person? Then the long sword was pulled out, bringing out a spray of blood. The blood rock cultist's body also fell heavily to the ground. After this, blood rock cultist fell. The man then discovered that there was actually a hidden world inside this wooden house. He saw behind the walls of the room a huge opening appeared, and now he clearly sensed that many auras were continuously approaching him from the cave. Could it be that this place is not just a hiding place for a few blood rock cultists, but rather the distribution of the blood rock cult? Before the man could think further, a group of blood rock cultists rushed out from the cave. You brat, you really have guts. Daring to attack our blood rock cult, looking for death. At this moment, the blood rock cultists were shouting angrily as they rushed. You will pay for the blood debts of our companions. Among these few people, there was even that cultist seen last night. The cultist saw a figure in green. The man in the yellow, orange, and white clothes stood in front, also extremely surprised. You actually chased me all the way here. Now pay the price for yesterday. The strong man stepped forward without hesitation, taking a step forward, using the technique of a step across the world, instantly appearing in the center of the cultists. Then he swung his long sword, quickly drawing his blade to slash, with sword energy slashing forward. In just a breath's time, the light formed by the sword energy flashed past the snow rock cultists. The blood rock cultists surrounding the man were instantly cut in half by the sword energy, gushing out a large amount of blood. After killing a few people, the man silently looked ahead. In the cave filled with red light, there was also a piercing laughter coming from the cave. A mere white-clothed man from Li Huang City actually dares to be so arrogant, to single-handedly invade our blood rock cult's Shaanxi branch. Upon hearing this, the man did not speak. At this moment, he sensed the strong aura of the enemy, and prepared himself. Just then, a tall and thin figure slowly approached the man from the cave filled with red light. As soon as this guy appeared, a chilling aura surrounded him. That was hard to describe. He was definitely not the same as those cultists from before. At this moment, the figure was about to approach the man. He was enveloped in black energy, with red light flickering in his eyes. When he stood in front of the man, he was actually half a head taller than the man. This guy's hair was not red, but was slowly returning to black, indicating that he had reached the realm of a master who could refine true energy. In other words, he was the minister of this Shaanxi branch, the top expert among them, known as the leader of the Blood Flame Sect. Sword in the Blood Flame Sect Sword. This is the title of the minister of the Blood Flame Sect branch. They are referred to as low level by the common people in the martial world as the red-haired Wuqing. Not only cruel, but also highly skilled, often slaughtering villages and towns. At this moment, the Blood Flame Sect sword with the skull-like face slowly drew the long sword from his hand. Are you ready for your blood to become my nourishment? The man never expected that the Blood Flame Sect would be so cruel, to sell and eat children in front of him. This reminded him of his family, who was brutally killed by the Demon Sect. In a fit of rage, he ended up slaughtering all the Blood Flame Sect members, but unexpectedly found himself in the Blood Flame Sect branch, where the Blood Flame Sect sword was stationed. Looking at the tall Blood Flame Sect sword in front of him, the man immediately felt a sense of vigilance. I definitely can't win in a head-on confrontation. I have to take advantage of him getting close to me, and then strike first, to seize the initiative. Then the man waited for the right moment, and swiftly drew his sword to strike at the Blood Flame Sect sword. But unexpectedly, the Bloodflame Sect Sword grinned. Does the reputation of the Imperial City make you so arrogant? Then he gently swung the long knife to block in front of him. But this attack was much stronger than the Bloodflame Sect Sword had imagined. Caught off guard, the Bloodflame Sect Sword was directly pushed back by the man's strike. Seeing this, the man did not hesitate to use the technique of within reach of heaven, instantly catching up. In the next moment, the man used his lightness skill, constantly circling around the Bloodflame Sect Sword, swinging his long sword. Such a dense attack made the Bloodflame Sect Sword somewhat fatigued in response. "Kid, your strength is not bad." This mocking voice made the man think of his family in Zhang family village again. At this moment, his internal power continued to rise, gathering on the long sword, and he slashed fiercely. "I'm no longer the same as I was before." Then the other hand reached out to grab the Bloodflame Sect Sword. Then the internal power gathered in the arm, instantly breaking his arm. The intense pain from the arm instantly made the Bloodflame Sect Sword furious. "How dare you, little brat!" And this attack was exactly within the man's plan. The man immediately swung the long sword upward, directly chopping off his palm. The intense pain from both arms made the Bloodflame Sect Sword cry out in agony. The man stepped forward again with the long sword, instantly piercing through the chest of the Bloodflame Sect Sword. In just a few breaths, the man, through his calculations, actually killed the infamous red-haired Wucheng in the martial world. The Bloodflame Sect Sword spat out blood and looked at the man. "I can't believe I would be killed by a mere white-clothed man." The man paid no attention to him. The long sword was instantly pulled out from his chest. Then he stood there, gasping for breath. After a period of rest, the man began to move again and observe his surroundings. At this moment, the man discovered the distribution of the Bloodflame Sect actually used a huge pit to pile up the civilians they had killed. Among them, most were even just a few years old, children. At this moment, the man could only feel sorrow for these people, to bury them. After a while, the man returned to Li Huang City again, in the inn, where several people were settled, and at this moment, he was surprisingly carrying a blood-soaked child on his back. Seeing this, the people quickly stepped forward to take the child off the man's back. "Isn't this child already dead?" Bai Miley immediately asked. "What happened? Are you hurt?" The man glanced at the blood all over him and said he was fine. "This isn't my blood. I discovered the distribution of the Bloodflame Sect." At this time, Bai Miley finally breathed a sigh of relief. "It's great that you're okay. What is the distribution of the Bloodflame Sect? Where did you find it?" The man immediately recounted his recent encounter in detail. He explained everything thoroughly. Before the man could finish saying that, he killed them. The two men in blue widened their eyes and were stunned on the spot. "You actually encountered the Bloodflame Sect Sword. I didn't expect there would still be a Bloodflame Sect here." The spirit of distribution then directly grabbed the long sword in hand. "No matter what the mission is, the target the Bloodrock Sect wants to eliminate in the Imperial City, so we will set off now to eradicate the Bloodrock Sect's branch here. Shadow Flash, this time it will be hard on you. You should go rest first. I will go with Senior Bai to eliminate them." At this time, the man hurriedly spoke up. "Two seniors. There's no need to go. Just send the officials to handle it." Once these words were spoken, everyone present felt it was unbelievable. "Shadow Flash, do you mean you killed everyone, including the Bloodrock Sect Sword? Is that true?" The man immediately replied. "Yes, Senior. Your lightness skill is like a distance of 1,000 miles. It helped me a lot." Bai Miley quickly spoke up. "Those who have trained to the level of the Bloodline Sword have a unique regeneration ability. Did you observe carefully? Many people managed to defeat the Bloodline Sword with great difficulty, but because they didn't know that their blood technique had regeneration abilities, they would be attacked from behind and die. The man directly lifted the package below. If I cut off the head, there should be no worries, right? After the mission was completed, a few of them immediately returned home to report to Ma Zhen. At first, I thought it was just a simple task, but I didn't expect there would be a branch existing. Perhaps this is also a good thing, to let the white-clad ones experience a life and death crisis. The two men in blue suddenly felt a bit awkward. A life and death crisis? Well, we haven't had the chance to take action yet. Shadow Flash went out alone to scout, and then he wiped out the Blood Flame Sex branch by himself. Once these words were spoken, Ma Zhen's expression stiffened. So, there was really no life and death crisis for them to test themselves. Qingming and Bai Meili could only awkwardly nod. Meanwhile, the man who had just returned to Li Huang City was thinking with a gloomy expression about the news he had just received. The former leader of the Divine Sword Group has returned, and he brought back a young boy. That boy is the rumored adopted son of the Ruohuang Ma family, and that Ruohuang Ma family is the maternal family of the man's mother. However, no one from his mother's family has ever come to Cao County to visit the Zheng family. Even during the wedding, no one attended. Even when his mother died in childbirth, there was no one present. No one has ever visited. So now, it seems they have completely severed ties with my mother. The next day, Ma Zhen immediately summoned the man. The city lord heard that you completed the mission and wants to summon you. The two had just walked out of the martial arts arena of Mo Guanji, which immediately sparked discussions among the warriors of Li Huang City. They couldn't believe that Shadow Flash was so young, yet single-handedly destroyed the Blood Flame Sex branch. Seeing this, Ma Zhen explained to the man that being able to single-handedly annihilate the Blood Flame Sex branch already qualifies him to be among the experts of Li Huang City. So keep up the good work. However, the man paid no attention to these praises. I am different from them. I don't have extra time. Before I turn 20, I must practice to the strength of the leader of the Divine Sword Group. There is still a long way to go, from white clothes to blue clothes, then to black clothes like Ma Zhen, and finally to purple clothes to become the leader of the Divine Sword Group. Just arrived in front of the city lord's gate in Li Huang City. The two heard some of the conversation. I remember, you seem to have a grandson. City lord, how powerful can the bloodline of a mere manor owner be? It's a blessing if it doesn't bring shame to Li Huang City. This child beside me is the true heir, although he is just a collateral branch, but with outstanding talent. After knocking on the door, Ma Zhen strode into the room. At this moment, an old man in the room was chatting with a young man, standing beside the city lord. The man immediately recognized the old man in front of him. He is the former leader of the Divine Sword Group, my grandfather. The man only revealed his identity in front of the city lord of Li Huang. He actually made the former leader of the Divine Sword Group and the great master Mo Guanji take notice, feeling extremely shocked. You are actually my sister's son. Upon hearing this, the man was stunned in place. He never expected that. The great master Mo Guanji, who he had been with for so long, was actually his uncle. At this moment, he could only sincerely apologize. I didn't know about my mother's family situation, so I didn't know you. Moreover, my direct family has been exterminated, and there is no source of information. The leader of the Divine Sword Group and Ma Zhen were both stunned again. What did you say? The Zheng family has been exterminated? Looking at the reactions of the two, the man also came to a conclusion. The Ma family might really not know that the Zheng family has been exterminated. The leader of the Divine Sword Group, Ma Shan, was stunned for a long time, but still asked the city lord, City lord, can you give me a little time to talk to him alone? At this moment, the man stepped forward and said loudly, although I am the son of your Ma family's married daughter, as a warrior of Li Huang City, I can only show respect for the merits established for my grandfather. Aside from that, I don't want to discuss any personal matters. Seeing such a dramatic scene, and recognizing the man's resilient qualities, the city lord immediately praised him, saying, "Your spirit is quite impressive." But at that moment, a shout interrupted their conversation. "I don't acknowledge this," shouted the young man brought by Ma Shan. "How could someone like him be a direct relative of my grandfather? And how dare you be so disrespectful to the former leader of the Divine Sword Group?" The man calmly looked at the furious young man, who seemed to have forgotten that he was still in front of the city lord. Then he spoke, "I don't need your acknowledgement. Moreover, am not from the Li Huangma family. I am now Mo Guanji's." As soon as these words came out, it immediately angered the young man. "You dare to mock the Ma family's grandfather? Please allow me to duel with this kid. I want to prove to him that bloodline has no value." The man directly interrupted the two in front. "You don't need to prove anything to me. Since you want me to guide you, I am willing to accept your request, but I have no need to prove my worth to you and your family." After watching enough, the city lord also spoke up, saying, "Let's end your argument here. Ma Shan is a confidant who has accompanied me for many years. And Shan Yi is also a subordinate with great potential for the Li Huang city. Since the conflict between you two is significant, then resolve it in the way of warriors. The stakes are what you both desire. Shan Ying, I know you have no advantage. So as a true friend of Ma Shan, promise you, regardless of the outcome, I will fulfill one of your requests." Upon hearing this, the man's eyes lit up. "Even the thing I want, can you give it to me?" The city lord shook his head. "That won't do. Even if the retired Ma Shan asks me, it's the same. Only the merit of the leader of the Divine Sword Group can earn it. But I can teach you my famous skills." As soon as these words came out, everyone present was shocked. To be taught martial arts by the city lord, known as the best in the world. The young man showed a smile at this moment. It seems that after this kid wins the match, he doesn't plan to help his grandfather, but instead wants to propose learning martial arts. The maternal grandfather would definitely not allow such a person to be the heir. Although he couldn't get the Millennium Wood fruit he wanted, the city lord's martial arts are also a good thing. The man immediately agreed. Then, the few of them went directly to the training ground in the city lord's mansion. "Only I use this place. Today, you all have a go." The young man unhesitatingly put on the gloves from his waist, preparing to display the Ma family's ultimate fist technique. The man glanced at the former standing beside him, the leader of the Divine Sword Group. "Now for me, Mo Guanji is enough, so there's no need for Li Huang." The Ma family then pointed forward with one hand. "Come on." The young man was immediately angered by the man's contemptuous tone, directly charged forward. "How dare you be so arrogant?" Then came in front of the man. The gloves in his hands continuously gathered power, but after he threw a punch, the man simply clapped with one hand, easily dodging the attack, then used the technique Inch of Heaven and Earth, instantly flashed to the young man's back. At this moment, the man had already seen the opponent's depth. This guy, although his martial arts aren't that great, but perhaps due to consuming a lot of spiritual medicine, his internal strength is much stronger than mine. The young man saw the man dodge the attack. Without hesitation, he gathered power in his fist again. The man also did not hesitate, unleashed his self-created internal skill, Zhengjia Gong, with the support of internal power and Inch of Heaven and Earth, very easily dodged the attack coming from the young man in front. But this only made the young man even angrier. "You coward, who only knows how to dodge." The man, however, remained deaf to the words, continuously dodging the opponent's attacks. This is the true strong fist of the Ma family. Although he has a reckless personality, he has practiced prestigious martial arts. His attack power is still not to be underestimated. As the young man's attacks became faster and faster, he could no longer contain his impatience. "Why don't you draw your sword and fight?" Then the young man gathered all his internal power into his fist, and smashed out a heavy punch. but the man still lightly blocked the attack with one hand, then used lightness skill to retreat backwards. Seeing you use fist techniques, I also remembered a set of fist techniques. Just now was merely a test. The next 10 moves will be enough. Beside him, the leader of the Divine Sword Group, Ma Shan, heard this. Being able to defeat him within 10 moves is already considered exceptional talent. But those who understand the man Ma Zhen know the man's meaning is not this. What he said was not to end within 10 moves, but rather to create a set of fist techniques within 10 moves. The man is merely competing with the master of fist techniques, and within 10 moves, he actually created a set, a skill that is enough to be famous in the martial world. This scene made the lord of Li Huang City and the former leader of the Divine Sword Group feel incredibly astonished at such a young age to be able to create such a technique. After just 10 exchanges, the young man in front was not angry at this moment. Since that's the case, I will use my strongest technique. In the next moment, he clenched his fist with one hand and made a move, the style of the Wild Horse family's boxing technique. Watching the opponent's momentum continuously rise, the man couldn't help but admire him, not angered by my words, but rather calmly adjusting his mindset, feeling the fluctuation of true energy from him. He must have received strict guidance from his grandfather. The man slowly spoke. The so-called boxing technique is a technique that can be used at any time according to the situation. So don't pay too much attention to the moves. Give it your all. You can show me many new things. The young man was directly provoked by the man. Stop talking nonsense. In the next moment, his body shot towards the man like a cannonball. At this moment, the man no longer dodged. Both hands gathered internal energy. Then with one punch, he directly collided with the young man's iron fist. After just taking this punch, the young man was knocked back several steps. This guy has such great strength. The man at this moment was unhesitating and charged forward again. This scene left Ma Zhen extremely astonished. After one punch, the internal energy, surprisingly, did not disperse, but instead gathered again. It was simply unbelievable. He is only 15 years old. The second boxing technique the man created himself was already prepared. Seeing this, the young man had no time to react and could only passively defend. But unexpectedly, the man's attacks were getting stronger each time. One punch directly broke through the young man's defense. The three people around quietly watched this scene. This set of boxing techniques, could it be the insights gained from the Huhua fist just now? Is it the understanding? Each punch is stronger than the last, building up power. After taking this hit, the young man could only keep retreating. At this moment, he saw his grandfather, who had taken care of him since he was little, and his heart suddenly sank, quickly steadied himself, and once again gathered strength in his fist. The man noticed this, and immediately said, "Go ahead, show your true strength." The young man became even angrier upon hearing this, and fiercely struck a palm directly at the man. The man pivoted on his foot, and punched towards the young man's palm. Strike! With this punch, he actually forced the young man's fist open, and his whole body uncontrollably retreated backwards. In the next moment, the man directly followed the young man's retreating steps. A palm technique actually condensed in his hand. I didn't expect he had something new. A palm technique, what an interesting thing. Seeing the man use the palm technique, a few top experts from the martial world were greatly shocked. Just with a glance, actually created a palm technique. This quick strike of the palm directly knocked the young men back several meters. The former leader of the Divine Sword Group, Ma Shan, was immediately shocked to have been defeated so easily. One could see that the young man ahead was already unable to continue fighting. His whole body collapsed to the ground. This kid is simply too terrifying. The more times they fought, the stronger the fist technique he creates. And to be able to create new martial arts in such a short time, I have lived for so many years and have never seen it. after the man stopped his attack. He continuously felt the flow of true energy within him. The martial arts created this time can be considered a signature skill, right? The Lord of Power City, seeing him stop, slowly walked forward. This is truly a rare match to witness, and even created martial arts during the match. The man quickly turned back and humbly said he was truly ashamed. I wonder if I have offended your eyes. The Lord of Power City chuckled and said, if this can be considered offending my eyes, then there have been no matches worth seeing in previous lives. What is the name of your fist technique? The man replied calmly, Wuji fist technique. At this time, Ma Zhen also stepped forward to congratulate him, saying it was hard work to compete. This time, you created a great martial art. But the man shook his head. I have only created a framework now, but I am not satisfied with the techniques within this martial art. And using the palm technique relies on the demon-wide skill. Ma Zhen looked at the man helplessly. Now, in the white clothes, there are not many who can take your strike. Although I have always told myself not to be intimidated by your talent, your speed of growth still surprises me. Upon hearing this, the man did not feel proud or complacent. This fast horse, I only have 5 years. I must be faster. But unexpectedly, at this moment, the former leader of the Divine Sword Group actually walked out. What must I do for you to forgive me? The man, only in front of the Lord of Power City, created a set of fist techniques, which actually made the former leader of the Divine Sword Group admit his mistake on the spot. It must be known that those who can become the leader of the Divine Sword Group are all top experts in the martial world. They can even control life and death by manipulating their internal energy. That kind of person standing at the top of the food chain actually bowed his head to the man and admitted his mistake. After some consideration, the man calmly replied to his grandfather, you are making me feel very burdened. In the past years, I have never seen you. This matter is already irretrievable. For me, now my mother's family is just like other unrelated people. I am now a martial artist of the Royal Demon Benefactor. They are my family. The former leader of the Divine Sword Group, Ma Shan, was dejected. Our relationship can be cultivated slowly. But the man directly I don't even have enough time to practice martial arts. Just now, your grandson was rude and wanted to compete with me. Now that I have won against him, so please respect me as a martial artist. Seeing the atmosphere on site become awkward, the Lord of Power City immediately stood up. Shan Ying has already won the competition. Then I will arrange the reward. I will teach you the martial arts you want to learn. Moreover, you can also make a request to the Li Huangma family. Upon hearing this, the man immediately agreed, saying that when he has a need, he will inform the Li Huangma family through Ma Zhen. Ma Zhen looked aggrieved. I just came to watch the show. What? Am I becoming a messenger for my nephew and the Ma family again? After a while, Ma Zhen set off with the man on the way back to the Royal Demon Benefactor. At this moment, Ma Zhen seemed to have made up his mind. With a serious expression, he called out to the person ahead. Shan Ying, I have a task that needs your help. That is the task regarding the Zixio Dan. It is known as the treasure of the martial world, the spiritual medicine of the Huashan sect. Now, the Huashan sect has lost the Zixio Dan. Countless sects and martial artists are eager to obtain the Zixio Dan and have started to stir. Now, the martial world has become chaotic again. So, now, we need to search for the Zixio Dan together with the Huashan sect, and we established the royal city on the surface to search for the elixir. But in reality, we need to reduce human disasters. The man began to think about the gains and losses of this task. I heard that this dispute has caused quite a stir. In actual combat, we may need to use swords. Ma Zhen sighed and replied, yes, but I think this task is very beneficial for you. This is an opportunity to spar with famous martial artists from all over the world. Given your qualifications and characteristics, you can achieve a realm far beyond what hard training can provide. After a while, The team formed by Mo Guanji and others entered the territory of Xi'an. At this moment, Zuan Yuan felt a bit regretful. In order not to let others know about the royal city, to assist the Huashan sect, we cannot wear the martial attire of the royal city. We can't show off our power either. At this time, a group of people dressed in white martial attire suddenly appeared ahead. You are the experts from the royal city, right? We have been waiting for a long time. Looking at the person in front, the man immediately recognized him as the real Trump. He is the leader among the Plum Blossom swordsmen, and a well-known super expert in the martial world. This time, the royal city coordinated with his level. Even the black-clad Ma Zhen personally came forward. Upon seeing him for the first time, I felt that his martial arts were on par with Ma Zhen. At this time, Trump looked at the two blue-clad figures behind Ma Zhen and continued, "They are all familiar faces, so there's no need for introductions. I understand the royal city's stance on this matter. However, you actually brought your disciple along." Hearing this, the man immediately understood. He was too young, and the other party didn't regard him as the white-clad of the royal city, but saw me as Ma Zhen's disciple. Seeing this, Ma Zhen was about to explain, but unexpectedly, the other party pushed forward with his palm. "That disciple of the royal city seems to be quite skilled. How about we have a spar with our sect leader's disciple, as a meeting program for both parties?" At this moment, Ma Zhen also understood. It seems they want to give us a show of strength. After all, we will be acting together. It's not appropriate for experts to spar. Do you want to determine the future of the sect through this? Then Ma Zhen turned to look at the man. At this moment, the man also understood. He immediately put down the package in his hands. He picked up his weapon. Suddenly, from the crowd on the other side, a rebellious voice emerged. "Master, are you going to cause trouble again? Can I defeat him in 5 moves?" To take care of the other party's face, Trump quickly explained, "You can learn a lot from a spar. Give it your all." The other party, however, was even more arrogant. "I don't know what they have that I can learn from. Their martial arts don't seem that impressive." The man, however, walked forward with a serious expression. "The other party is so arrogant. How profound is the martial arts of the Huashan sect?" He then asked the young man in front of him, "You say you can defeat me in 5 moves?" The young man looked disdainful. "You've hurt my pride." "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to underestimate you. I'm a bit tired from this morning's training." I unconsciously said this. "I am Huashan sect's Huaguang Zuan Yuan, and I was shocked. Huaguang is the hidden dragon of the Huashan sect. I've heard he is the leader of the Huashan sect, a true master recognized as a peerless talent. He is called the future of the Huashan sect. Moreover, there are rumors in the martial world that he has already begun to practice the purple mist divine skill. This guy, who has been famous in the martial world for a long time. Can Shanying really defeat him?" At this moment, Shanying was already prepared. He looked ahead. "Li Huang City's Mo Guanji, the white-clad Shanying, please enlighten me. He is hailed as a genius rarely seen in 1,000 years by the Huashan sect." Young man. Upon seeing the man for the first time, he declared he would defeat him in 10 moves. However, his boastful words seemed like a joke in front of the warriors of Li Huang City. At this moment, hearing the man declare himself from Li Huang City, the white-clad Huaguang was slightly taken aback, but quickly regained his composure, because he does not believe there is anyone in this world who can compare to his talent. In the next moment, he immediately used the lightness skill of the Huashan sect. The fragrant shadow instantly appeared in front of the man. At this moment, countless palms appeared before the man, swaying in front of him. Is this the Huashan sect's shadow palm technique? The moves are varied, making it difficult to distinguish which palm is the real attack. At this moment, he also did not hesitate, using his self-created fist technique, the first move of the Wu Jigong, falling immortal. In an instant, golden internal energy erupted around his body, colliding with the blue internal energy ahead. Just as they collided, Hua Guang sensed something was wrong. Why is this guy's strength so great? But before he could regain his senses, the man had already used his lightness skill to arrive in front of him. After the man got close to him, he stomped down hard, instantly shattering the internal energy condensed by Huguang. Then, a punch came straight at Huguang. The second move of the Wujigong, arm shaking. Caught off guard, Huguang hurriedly used the follow-up moves of the falling eagle palm to block. Seeing the palm technique used by the opponent, the man also felt something at this moment. I have already gained insight into the third move of my Wujigong. In the midst of quick action, the man said to Huguang, "Let's keep going for a while. I want to go for about 10 moves." Being countered by the opponent's arrogant tone, he still couldn't find a rebuttal, and his anger grew even stronger. Yet the man remained calm as water, constantly gathering internal energy in his hands, executing the third move of the Wujigong that he had just comprehended. Seeing such a magnificent move, the elder of the Huashan sect, Xuanpu, was extremely shocked. What kind of fist technique is this? It's even stronger than our Huashan sect's Luo Yingjiang. At this moment, the man threw a punch, and in the air ahead, it actually triggered an explosion formed by internal energy. As those internal energies exploded in the air, Huguang was directly blown away by the explosion. After taking this hit, he was even more powerless to stand up. He could only lie on the ground, gasping for breath. The scene left everyone from the Huashan sect extremely shocked. He was defeated in just 3 moves. Is he really the one we know? The genius praised by the sect leader as a once-in-a-thousand-years talent. At this moment, the man was immersed in his own thoughts. That last attack can be considered the third move. I will name it the third move of the Wujigong, Fist Blossom. When he came back to his senses, he realized the shocked gazes of everyone from the Huashan sect around him. What exactly happened? This young man only used 3 moves. Who exactly is he? Why have we never heard of him? Trump saw Huguang defeated so miserably, and felt a bit angry, instructing his subordinates to bring him back. Then turned to speak to Ma Zhen. You have raised a hidden dragon in the Imperial City? It seems the martial world will be suppressed by you for many years to come. But Ma Zhen disagreed. This metaphor is a bit excessive. As long as you don't act against the common people, we in the Imperial City won't take action either. Trump immediately turned away disdainfully, not wanting to argue with him. The excuses of the Imperial City have remained unchanged for so many years. Called Shadow Flash, right? The white clad of the Imperial City. Today, you have shown me extraordinary martial arts. Although it is somewhat similar to the falling shadow palm technique of Mount Hua, you couldn't have practiced the martial arts of Mount Hua. I didn't expect there to be such martial arts in the world. However, today, this is also a good thing that can stimulate the lazy disciples of the sect. If you have to leave the Imperial City for unavoidable reasons, Mount Hua is willing to treat you as a distinguished guest. Upon hearing this, Ma Zhen immediately angrily said to Trump, "You've crossed the line." At this moment, Trump also realized he had misspoken, and quickly apologized, saying, "I admit, my greed just now clouded my judgment, and I made you look bad. With such an outstanding young man appearing before me, how could I not be moved?" At this moment, 2 men in blue behind had already noticed something was off with the man. The Shadow Flash's body could no longer hold up. His internal energy was exhausted. That's true. The moves just now used up all his internal energy. All the moves of the Infinite Fist consume a lot of internal energy. This is a huge burden for my body right now. It seems that during the actual combat later, I can only use my sword. Soon after returning to the inn, King Ming straightforwardly offered his opinion. You need to quickly open your central dantian. Since your internal energy is insufficient, you can only supplement your endurance. The man, however, was a bit confused. What is this central dantian you speak of? Bai Miley then appropriately interjected. You actually don't understand the function of the central dantian? This is an effect that even having a dantian in the head cannot provide. Once you have it, Your internal energy will become more solid. Upon hearing this, the man was still in a fog. Internal energy becoming solid. What does that mean? Bai Miley could only explain in detail. It means improving efficiency. Have you heard of the saying that experts can battle for 7 days and nights and not get tired? They have cultivated their central dantian, which stabilizes the flow of true energy, allowing them to unleash several powerful moves. Even when facing strong attacks, it won't interrupt the flow of internal energy. And this is also the reason why King Ming can fight against Nangong's first sword. So what you need to learn now is this. The man immediately asked Bai Miley, is there any way to open the central dantian? If you continue to practice the lower dantian, it will open automatically. It's best to focus on the upper body during regular practice. Breathe and adjust your energy. At this moment, the man couldn't wait to take it slow. He immediately stood up. Sister, is there a faster way? The man's sudden question caught Bai Miley off guard. Instantly, a blush appeared on Bai Miley's face, as if she was enjoying being called sister. The man simply called out sister to the heroine in front of him, which surprisingly taught him the method to open the central dantian, a technique that everyone in the martial world dreams of. After obtaining the central dantian, the internal power will continuously be compressed. This is a skill that must be learned to become a top expert. At this time, Detective Ma returned to the inn after gathering information and released a shocking news to everyone. The criminal who stole the elixir is the Black Ghost, a notorious thief in the martial world, and the one who stole Bai Miley's family secret manual. Once this was said, it left the few people around in shock. This guy actually stole the martial arts manual of Senior Bai. Ma Zhen immediately issued orders to the group, saying that from now on, we will systematically destroy the martial sects related to the Black Ghost. Then, while we attract their attention, we will secretly infiltrate these sects to investigate. The man was momentarily stunned. What justification do we have to provoke these evil sects? At this moment, Ding Ming suddenly burst into laughter. It seems you don't understand these evil sects and their people. Even their bases are taken from others. They have not received recognition from the court. From our perspective, they are merely thieves robbing the common people. There is no need for any justification. These parasites that gnaw at the country, the only reason they haven't been completely eradicated is simply because a batch was killed. New ones will appear again. This time, we will first set 5 sects. I will be responsible for 2 of them. The 2 men immediately said they wanted to complete the task alone this time. Complete the task by myself. Ma Zhen shook his head. At this moment, it's too dangerous for you alone. Dealing with the sect alone is another matter. The most variables come from group battles. Even top experts can be defeated under a sea of people tactic. The man's eyes, however, were incredibly firm. Even so, I will eventually need to act alone. After a long silence, Ma Zhen finally spoke and said, since that's the case, let's distribute the tasks this way. Zhan Ying, your target is the Mantis sect in the Lianhu district of Xi'an. I have inquired about them. They are a group of extremely vicious guys. They have been engaging in robbery and looting nearby. The task objective is to go alone and wipe out their entire sect. Soon, a servant led the man to the Lianhu district. Looking at the young boy ahead, he felt it was unbelievable. Are you really not going to reconsider? The Mantis sect is not an ordinary group. They have dozens of martial artists. I heard that even a small minion can sweep through the Lianhu area. The man immediately reassured him. Just make sure to explain their detailed information. The teacher quickly reported. They emerged 3 years ago. After pacifying the Lianhu County area, even the county magistrate obeys them. Moreover, they use a wide variety of martial arts and weapons. I have only observed them from a distance. Their movements are so fast that it's hard to keep up with the eyes. Once, someone had their 2 heads chopped off by them. Now, the entire Lianhu County is under their control. Outsiders can't get involved at all. The man immediately compiled this information. Although their martial arts system is very diverse, they have indeed practiced martial arts. Soon, the two arrived in Lianhu County. Just as they stepped into the jurisdiction of Lianhu County, the man witnessed a shocking scene. Several evil martial artists were binding the civilian women in the county. One by one, they were toying with them. Seeing such audacious actions, the man immediately made up his mind. This place really needs to establish a branch of the imperial city to oversee these cult martial artists. Then he walked straight towards the group. I still need to confirm one thing with you. Are you officials? And what about these bound people? Are they really the so-called criminals? Warriors ahead did not want to pay attention to this meddlesome boy. Immediately took out a dart, and without hesitation threw it towards the place where the man was standing. Threw it over. The man, however, simply caught it with one hand, and seized the flying hidden weapon. In the next moment, the weapon's blade turned, and he threw it fiercely forward. Demonic, wide, absolute fast sword style. With one slash, he easily killed the bald men who had attacked him. This scene shocked the remaining 4 martial artists around, who quickly became alert. Not bad with your skills. Which martial arts school did this little guy study at? We might know each other. Don't harm your own people. One of them drew a long sword and slowly approached. Pretty fast too. Which martial arts style did you just use? The man directly drew the long sword from his hand. No need to sign up. We are not on the same side. In an instant, a flash of sword light passed over the head of the martial artist from earlier. When the sword light disappeared, the man had already been split in two by this sword light. Seeing this scene, the few people in the back had no idea what to do. The man also did not intend to give them a chance to react. Executed the step of a step across the world. Then the swift movement within the demonic wide meaning instantly flashed around the bodies of the few people. In just an instant, several people had already been separated into corpses. In a single breath, the man directly in Lianshui County, the tyrant who has been rampant for a long time, is dealt with. This left the surrounding villagers in shock, fell into a deathly silence. It took a while for them to react. They hurriedly rushed forward to rescue the bound woman, then continuously thanked the man who saved them. After the man responded to the thanks, he stared intently at the servant in the back. Where is the Mantis sect? The servant, in shock, pointed to a courtyard. It's right over there. At this moment, the man did not hesitate. Holding the long sword, he walked straight towards the courtyard. Upon arriving at the Mantis sect, without stopping, he kicked the front door with a loud bang. The door was kicked open by the man. However, inside the sect, countless fierce-eyed martial artists stood. The self-proclaimed king did not expect at all that this young kid in front of him would bring his emperor's dream to an end. Seeing ahead, the old man slowly walked down. A mere kid dares to kill my sex people. The man merely observed the person in front of him silently. He even dares to wear the dragon robe that only the emperor can wear. Could it be that he plans to rebel? The old man had already walked down. Ordered, you all stay out of this. I will personally deal with this little one with my imperial sword. It's been a long time since I've tasted human blood. Kid, even if you want to be a hero, why must you act on my territory? Our kind of power is not something a little brat like you can provoke. The man, however, calmly asked the person in front of him, what is your name? Dares to wear the dragon robe. The old man, after being exposed, no longer pretended. A dying man. What use is it to know my title? At this moment, the man actually walked to the center of the crowd. I need to know your name. Otherwise, how can I report my achievements? The old man immediately gritted his teeth. The kid still dares to speak so arrogantly here. In the next moment, he transformed into a streak of light and charged straight ahead. Kid, go die. Watching the incoming attack from the opponent, the man was actually stunned in place. Is he using a fast sword? Could it be that he has grown too quickly during this time? I can actually see the trajectory of his sword. Then, The man slashed straight at the incoming attack with his sword, directly deflecting the attack back. The old man, receiving this sword, was directly sent flying dozens of meters away. Looking at the smoking long sword in his hand, the old man was extremely shocked. What kind of monster is he? Such great strength. Seeing the situation was not good, the old man immediately signaled to his subordinates around him. The surrounding subordinates immediately understood and drew their weapons one after another. With the old man's command, the surrounding warriors rushed forward to surround the man. Then they all began to slash at the man from all sides. At this moment, the man was completely unflustered. He immediately used the technique close distance, far horizon, easily dodging the attacks from all around. Then he picked up the long sword in his hand and counterattacked the surrounding warriors. After a few breaths, the man's counterattacks became increasingly smooth. The warriors surrounding him all showed expressions of terror. Where did this expert come from? Under constant offense and defense, the man gradually comprehended new techniques. I can actually see the path of the sword, the final landing points of their weapon attacks. This made it even smoother for the man to evade these attacks. Then he directly used his movement technique to break out of the encirclement of these warriors. Then, seizing the opportunity, transformed into a streak of light and passed through the crowd again. And the long sword in his hand did not pause at all. The sword light continuously flowed over these people. When the last sword fell, the man also arrived behind the old man. At this moment, countless screams erupted from behind the man. Blood sprayed everywhere. The old man, seeing this scene, kept retreating backwards. What kind of monster are you? But the man gave the old man no chance to react at all. His body soared into the air again. The long sword struck straight down towards the old man below. With just this one sword, it directly cleaved a mark into the entire ground. The old man, without any reaction at all, was split in two by it. Then the body fell heavily onto the shattered floor. At this moment, the man slowly spoke to the few remaining people behind him. Today, I will wipe out your Mantis sect. The remaining few instantly turned pale with fear. They shouted that this guy is simply a madman. Quick, call the blood flame demon sword over. Otherwise, we will all die. Hearing this immediately caught the man's attention. Blood, flame, demon sword. Since your mastermind is the blood flame demon cult. At this time, the few dared not answer the man's question anymore. They could only look at him in terror. The man did not hesitate to flash over and directly grabbed one person's neck. Answer my question. In the face of life and death crisis, that person had no choice but to answer. Yes, that's right. He should be sleeping in another courtyard now. The man immediately became puzzled. If he is sleeping and really is the blood flame demon sword, he wouldn't possibly be unaware of such a huge commotion. In the next moment, a long sword came straight at the man. The man, already on guard, immediately turned and swung his weapon to block the attack. At this time, a figure also leaped over the wall from behind, floating over the man. Then, slowly landing next to the long sword that had just been knocked away. After grasping the long sword in hand, he slowly turned to look at the man. It turned out to be a little guy with some skills. I didn't expect he could block my strike. Seeing this person, the man's pupils suddenly dilated. This person's hair was almost entirely turning black. Definitely the top expert of the Blood Flame Demon sect. The Blood Flame Demon sword, which has killed countless people, never expected that this 15-year-old boy in front of him would show a look of desire, only because Ma Zhen had once told him, the only way to level up in the Imperial City is by killing. As long as you kill 5 people, the Blood Flame Demon sword, regardless of age, can be promoted to a Blue Robe Warrior. Looking at the incredibly arrogant Blood Flame Demon sword in front of him, the man was extremely excited. My luck is really good. In the next moment, internal energy began to gather throughout his body. Now only 3 are left. Hearing the man's muttering to himself, The blood flame demon sword's expression stiffened. What are you talking about? But what he received was not a response from the other party. The man immediately used the technique, within reach of heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, the man had already appeared in front of the blood flame demon sword. Caught off guard, the blood flame demon sword hurriedly drew out his long sword to block the attack. Seeing the opponent block his strike, the man also realized something was off. This person is much stronger than the blood flame demon sword I encountered at first. Even more so. But the battle must end quickly. This is the center of the Mantis sect. The longer the battle goes on, the greater the danger. The blood flame demon sword was already enraged by the man's reckless actions, constantly gathering internal energy in his hands. The man's movements did not pause at all. The long sword in his hand merged with his self-created fist technique. A move transformed from the fist technique into the infinite sword technique. Spiral pierced into the blood flame demon sword's body like a whirlwind. The blood flame demon sword, receiving this blow, was extremely terrified. Why are you moving so fast? The man, however, directly pulled the long sword out from the blood flame demon sword's body. I have no intention of listening to your last words. In the next moment, a flash of sword light passed again, and directly severed his head. In just a few breaths, the blood flame demon sword was killed. The surrounding warriors were shocked, and hurriedly retreated backwards. At this time, the man also turned around to look at the remaining people. Don't think about escaping. You all must die. After a while, the people from the nearby town rushed to the entrance of the Mantis sect. Everyone clasped their fists and thanked the man. Thanks to you, hero, for avenging us. If it weren't for you, we don't know how much longer we would have to endure this evil. The torment of the demon. For a long time, the man watched the crowd continuously expressing their gratitude. And his heart was also turbulent. An should be the territory of the Jiangnan sect. Why would such a cult be allowed to exist? Hearing this, the servant who led the man here asked in confusion. Young hero, don't you know? The Jiangnan sect is currently at war with the Sword sect. So the forces affiliated with the Jiangnan sect nearby have all left their posts and gone to Jiangnan Mountain. After receiving this news, the man also fell into deep thought. If the opponent is the Sword sect, the Jiangnan sect must fight to the death. It won't just end with the death of one or two masters. To conclude this war, when my family was destroyed, the only surviving brother and niece at home were also in the Jiangnan sect. It seems I need to go to the Jiangnan sect to see how the battle is going. The Sword sect is known as the evil cult of the 13 days. And is also a dominant force in the martial world. It will definitely become a target for the military intervention of Lihuang City. Killing the masters of the Sword sect would also count as a merit. The main leader should allow it. After a while, the man arrived at the designated forest and shouted into the depths, "Have you found the trace of the Black Ghost?" In the next moment, two warriors from the Huashan sect suddenly emerged from the forest. After coming to the man, Xuanpu immediately responded that they had not found anything. It seems they are not from the Mantis sect, but this time, I watched your battle, and it left a deep impression on me. I think you will soon become the future master of the demon sect. Even the leader of the divine sword sect will be within your reach. This time out has also allowed our sect's future to witness the talents of the martial world. Hua Guang also had an awkward expression at this time, thinking about what I said before, that defeating you would only take 5 moves. It was embarrassingly awkward. So, can we still arrange to spar together later? I see. You seem to be interested in our Huashan sect's martial arts. I'm quite interested as well. It's not far from Hunan to Shaanxi. The man fell silent. After a moment, he slowly spoke. I won't specifically go to Huashan. This scene made Hua Guang extremely awkward. He wished he could find a hole to burrow into. In the next moment, the man continued, but if you come to find me, I won't refuse. However, by then, you must bring the martial arts you've newly learned. After bidding farewell to the Huashan sect, the man quickly returned to the stronghold where the demon sect was located. Seeing the man, Qingming immediately sensed something was off. Your aura has changed again. Bai Miley immediately stepped forward to take a look. His back seems to have been scratched. Sit down, I'll apply medicine for you. At this moment, the man slowly set down the bundle on his shoulder. He said, I found someone from the Blood Flame Demon sect in the Mantis sect. I brought back his head. Ma Zhen had a serious expression. It turns out to be the Blood Flame Demon sword. It seems that what happened last time in Zhenping County was not a coincidence. The Blood Flame Demon sect has actually started to move again. Moreover, each county has arranged for a rare Blood Flame Demon sword. But no matter what, Shan Yin, the intelligence you brought back this time is a great achievement. We will send someone to investigate. If this matter is investigated thoroughly, it is very likely to affect the entire martial world. At this moment, the man finally reported his thoughts to Ma Zhen. Master, I want to leave first this time, to go to Jiangnan Mountain. The man only promised to hold on for a second under Ma Zhen's command. This actually left the top experts of the Huashan sect in utter shock. All because the person who acted just now is the one known as the Hell Killer, the Black Clad from Lihuang City. At this moment, upon hearing that the man wanted to go to Jiangnan Mountain, Ma Zhen was extremely shocked. Do you know that there is a war happening over there? The man said firmly. My nephew and brother are over there. I am worried about their safety. Ma Zhen immediately shared the intelligence he knew. He said it out loud. It's too dangerous here right now. The Sword Worship sect and the Blood Flame cult are different groups. They cannot be simply classified as evil sects. They practice both orthodox martial arts and evil techniques. They are a group of madmen who will do anything to become stronger. So, before we receive orders from above, we should just focus on our own responsibilities. Suddenly, Qingming interjected. At the master level, tasks can be assigned freely based on the situation. As soon as these words were spoken, the people from Lihuang City in the inn fell silent. After a while, Ma Zhen slowly spoke up. Then I will speak the truth. I can't be sure if you will come back after going to Jiangnan Mountain. I can't bear to let you go. Any master from Lihuang City who understands your talent would worry about this issue. Everyone wants to win you over. And I heard that your relatives are over there. The Huashan sect's sword techniques have also mentioned that they want to recruit you as a distinguished guest. The man firmly addressed a few people. Master, you are a bit biased now, and after being in the demon Guanji for so long, you have no trust in me at all. I have made great contributions to Lihuang City. Please let me go. I'm very worried about my family. Qingming immediately smiled at Ma Zhen. You really have pushed our master into a corner. Seeing this, Bai Miley directly kicked him to make him shut up. After pondering for a while, Ma Zhen still said, your words are not without merit. I cannot refuse your concern for your family, but you cannot just go like this. You should take a move from me first, and see. As soon as these words were spoken, the two men in blue were extremely shocked. Master, you actually want to take action? Ma Zhen said firmly. Just 1 second is needed. If you can withstand or dodge it, I will let you go. Seeing this, Bai Miley was about to step forward to stop him. Ma Zhen directly ignored him. If you want to walk in the martial world, you must have this kind of strength. If you can take my move, I will give you a reward for your words. The man immediately agreed. Soon, the martial arts arena gathered many Huashan sect warriors. Trump also walked out from among them to express his gratitude to Ma Zhen. Then he walked in front of the Huashan sect members and said, remember, this is a rare opportunity to see the demon Guanji master take action. Hua Guang immediately inquired, is the black-clad figure from Lihuang City A top expert comparable to Shishu Ning. Trump immediately responded, "That's right. And in the chaos of battle, he is even stronger than I am. You must know. The title of Demon Guanji Master is the hell-killing god. The elders of prestigious sects who died at his hands are not few in number, especially when facing such first-class super experts. Every move he makes cannot be underestimated, because each of his moves contains the killing move to instantly kill the opponent. The warriors of Lihuang City are different from us. Ancient sect warriors who pursue the ultimate sword. Their martial arts exist solely to kill." Hua Guang immediately exclaimed, "That Shadow still dares to accept such a master. There should be no one among our peers who can take a move, right?" At this moment, the man spoke to Ma Zhen in front of him. "Can you give me some preparation time?" Ma Zhen immediately agreed. "You can prepare for as long as you want, to let you see for yourself. I have been preparing for a long time. Practice well." The man looked seriously at Ma Zhen in front of him. "There are no more than 30 black-clothed experts in Lihuang City, but I don't need to be nervous. This time I just need to showcase the martial arts I have learned." In the next moment, the man erupted with powerful internal energy. When the man opened his eyes again to look at Ma Zhen, he saw the internal energy flowing in Ma Zhen's body was completely visible to him. Then he tightly gripped the sword handle. "I have made my decision. You go first." Ma Zhen immediately chuckled lightly. Around his body, an overwhelming internal force erupted that shocked everyone present. Seeing this, the man immediately made a judgment. "If I am hit by this palm technique, I will die instantly. I must dodge." In the next second, Ma Zhen transformed into a streak of light and pounced on the man. Seeing the opponent's speed so fast, the man also understood. "With the steps I currently master, I cannot dodge at all. But if I want to dodge, it's very simple. I just need to accomplish one thing." In an instant, the man's body transformed into two and slipped past Ma Zhen's attack. When Ma Zhen's attack landed, the man had already arrived behind Ma Zhen. This scene left the warriors of Lihuang City and Huashan sect in utter shock. Ma Zhen couldn't believe it and turned to look at the man. "What kind of steps did you just use? You only took one step." The man calmly recalled everything that had just happened. "I saw a way out in your internal energy, and then comprehended a set of steps that belonged to me. Phantom steps." Seeing this, Ma Zhen smiled. "I agree." Shadow Flash goes to Jiangnan Mountain. He is the #1 of the younger generation of the Jiangnan sect, and also a famous beauty in the martial world. And when the man arrived at the Jiangnan sect for the first time, actually confronts them head-on, even drawing his long sword to slash at the people of the Jiangnan sect. After Ma Zhen agreed to let the man go to Jiangnan Mountain, King Ming unexpectedly took off his blue robe and directly draped it over him. "I'll lend you this robe for now." This left the man somewhat puzzled. "What does this mean? Why are you lending me your clothes?" Bai Miley immediately stepped forward to explain. Dressed in white, wearing a blue royal martial robe over it, this represents that the blue-robed martial artist guarantees with his own reputation that you are a rising star of the royal city, which allows you to have the authority to command in front of all the white-robed martial artists of the royal city. Upon hearing this, the man understood. Rising star refers to the outstanding among the younger generation of martial artists, which is also King Ming. To explain further, if someone asks about you, then you can say that it was recognized by the demon sword in a broad sense. In that case, generally, people in the martial world won't trouble you. Bai Miley also smiled and said, "Actually, you can also mention my name. I can also be considered to have given you a long robe." The man, who had never felt the warmth of home since birth, looked at the few people in front of him and was deeply moved. After setting off, looking at the man in the white robe with the blue cloak, Zuanyuan was also extremely envious. The young hero's talent is truly astonishing. The man looked at the blue robe he was wearing. "Actually, I feel a bit unworthy wearing this." Zhuan Yuan immediately responded that the young hero need not worry. With your qualifications, you will adapt quickly. Actually, I think the young hero's martial skills should be enough to be promoted to Blue Robe. After a while, the two arrived at the foot of the Jiangnan Sect's mountain. Seeing the serious expressions of the few people, Zhuan Yuan also came to a conclusion. It seems their struggle with the sword sect is not optimistic, actually not guarding the entrance of their own sect, but in this corner, at the foot of the mountain. Upon seeing the arrival of the two, a few members of the Jiangnan sect immediately shout, "Who are you? Stop and state your sect and name, and what brings you here?" Zhuan Yuan proudly pointed to his clothes and said, "As you can see, we come from the Imperial City. We are affiliated with the Imperial City Demon Sect. This is Shanying. And also, young master, I am also under the banner of the Imperial City." Zhuan Yuan and the few from the Jiangnan sect still looked at the two in front of them with great vigilance. "Do you think you can prove your identity just by your clothes?" Zhuan Yuan directly took out the token from his arms. "Show it to them." But the Jiangnan sect still does not believe it. "Li Huang City, can young people like you act on your own? Who would believe this? Even so, I'm sorry, but our sect is currently in a state of readiness for battle. We cannot trust easily." Unknown. Identity of the unknown person. Zhuan Yuan immediately displayed his strong internal energy. "You people really are asking for trouble." Seeing the internal energy displayed by Zhuan Yuan, the few immediately confirmed, only Li Huang City could have such a young and powerful person. But the next moment, they angrily said, "How dare you pressure the disciples of the Jiangnan sect on Jiangnan Mountain?" Seeing how easily angered they were, the man also sensed something was off. It seems their battle with the Peijian sect is not going well. The pride of the 9 sects has already shown cracks, and now a few inexperienced kids show up, claiming to be warriors from Li Huang City. It's only natural to be in a bad mood. The leader from the back immediately stepped forward. "I still can't believe that you juniors are warriors from Li Huang City, and that Li Huang City is aware of our current situation. Even if you really are from Li Huang City, that raises an even bigger problem. How can I believe that they would send you two kids here? Moreover, the reputation of Li Huang City is just a thing of the past." Upon hearing this, the two were immediately filled with rage. The man immediately drew his long sword, and his internal energy surged. Unprovoked insults towards the warriors of other sects. "You Jiangnan sect, shouldn't you reflect on your own words and actions?" Seeing this situation arise, the few were caught off guard, but at this moment could only grit their teeth and draw their weapons. "Are you trying to threaten us?" The man did not hesitate and swung his sword straight at them. After the sword light passed, the weapons in the hands of the Jiangnan sect members were directly severed. Suddenly, a sharp shout came from afar. "Enough!" The next moment, a figure rushed down from the mountaintop. When this person landed, the members of the Jiangnan sect immediately respectfully called out, "Senior sister." The man and Zhuan Yuan also immediately deduced that this person's martial arts are formidable and combined strength. The green-clad warriors of the royal city are not to be underestimated. This person then turned to the members of the Jiangnan sect and angrily scolded, "You really have opened my eyes. What you said sounds like the disciples of the Jiangnan sect. After returning, go find the elders to receive punishment." Then she turned gently to speak to the two. "I truly apologize for making the two from the royal city laugh." Seeing this, the two quickly responded. They reported their names. The woman also responded, "I am Miao Hua from the Jiangnan sect." Zhuan Yuan was taken aback. Miao Hua, the cloud sword dragon of the Jiangnan sect. The man merely glanced at the wall and unexpectedly fell into a state of no self. This scene left the legendary Jiangnan sword immortal and the cloud sword dragon incredibly shocked. It was because the wall the man looked at actually possessed the ultimate skill left by the sword sect 100 years ago. For many years, countless geniuses visiting have failed to discern its clues. At this moment, Zuanyuan quickly stepped forward upon seeing Myo Hua, the Cloud Sword Dragon. I am fortunate to meet Miss Myo Hua, known for the Sword Dragon. It is truly an honor. The man hurriedly explained that he acted recklessly on Jiangnan Mountain. I truly feel guilty towards the heroes of Jiangnan. Myo Hua smiled and responded that although the young hero first grasped the sword hilt, I also personally witnessed the disrespect shown by my junior brothers towards you. Ultimately, it is still our Jiangnan Mountain that has neglected the two of you. I apologize to you here for making the two esteemed guests wait here for so long. Now, please follow me to our sect. We can discuss any matters up there. Suddenly, a voice interrupted the conversation between the two. Yan Xin, what are you doing here? And this person is exactly after the Zheng family was exterminated. The second brother arrived at Jiangnan Mountain, and the little niece also ran out, calling out to her uncle, and leaped into the man's arms. After Dao Hua understood the situation, he began to explain that the sect leader and the elder went to battle with the Pei Sword sect. Since you two came from the Imperial City, I have invited the highest-ranking elder left behind in our sect. Seeing this, the two quickly clasped their fists and introduced themselves. The elder in front also responded appropriately. Please rise. Zhang Rili said. Upon hearing this, the two were instantly taken aback. Zhang Rili. Is he the strongest person of the Jiangnan sect as the legend says? The Jiangnan Sword Immortal. The two quickly lowered their heads. Junior pays respects to the Sword Immortal Senior. At this moment, the man also noticed that the person in front of him was even stronger than the Grand Elder he had seen before. Perhaps his strength is even greater than that of my Divine Sword Group's grandfather. After the Jiangnan Sword, Immortal silently observed the two for a long time. He spoke to the man. How old are you this year? Although I don't know what this Sword Immortal intends to do, I still responded that I just turned 16 this year. At this moment, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal's eyes lit up, looking ahead. Then can you take a look at that? In front of the mountain wall, there were actually several deep scratches. Myo Hua suddenly spoke up. Elder Zhang, what are you talking about? With the people outside? Even if we restore the long-lost Nine Yang style, it is the ultimate wish of our sect. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal directly interrupted. The sword sect was not originally from our sect. The ancestor and the sect leader were on good terms. That is why he was invited to visit Jiangnan Mountain. This allowed him to carve the martial arts he realized in his later years into the mountain of Jiangnan. So the Nine Yang style cannot be considered our sect's ultimate skill. Moreover, I have little time left. If I could see the swordsmanship of my benefactor again, I would be willing to do anything. Myo Hua, you are the only hope of our sect to restore the legendary Nine Yang style, but I cannot place all my hopes on you. After a moment of silence, Myo Hua spoke up. I just can't understand. What exactly did you see in a young hero you just met? What did you see? The Jiangnan Sword Immortal just quietly looked ahead. Man, you can see for yourself. What is it about him? At this moment, the man had already fallen into a state of forgetfulness, staring blankly ahead. Seeing this, Myo Hua was greatly shocked. Is this the state of no self? Just seeing the sword marks has led to this state? At this moment, the man was completely lost in thought, contemplating the marks before him. These sword marks are too exaggerated. They simply don't look like they were made by a human. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal also began to explain. These were left by the deceased master of the sword sect 100 years ago. The disciple he expelled founded the sword-carrying sect. So all the martial arts of the sword-carrying sect originated from him. If it weren't for the current lord of the Imperial City, his martial arts would be nearly unmatched in the world. Back then, it was the master of the sword sect who carried me, a nearly starving beggar, all the way up Jiangnan Mountain. This left Zuanyuan somewhat puzzled. Since it was the master of the sword sect who saved you, why didn't you learn his sword techniques? The Jiangnan Sword Immortal could only respond blankly. I am fated to be unrelated to that ultimate skill. That's just how life is. It may also be that my talent is insufficient. Not just me. Many swordsmen of our sect have tried. This sword technique cannot be understood just because you are well read or have high martial arts skills. So to comprehend this set of sword techniques, it completely depends on personal insight. Originally, the hopes of our sect could only be placed on Myo Hua, although he did not show it. The pressure is still great. At this moment, the man also awakened from the state of no self. Seeing this, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal hurriedly approached. Child, what did you see from this? The man did not answer his words, but slowly drew out the long sword in his hand. The man merely executed the legendary move, which allowed the Cloud Sword Dragon to comprehend the long-lost Juyang style of the Jiangnan sect. This brought tears to the Jiangnan Sword Immortal's eyes. I have finally seen this move again. As the man swung his sword a few times, the disciples of the sword sect fell one after another. This scene left the disciples of the Jiangnan sect in utter shock, with expressions of regret in their eyes. After a while, they recovered and hurriedly bowed respectfully towards the front. Earlier, we overreacted, and now, we apologize for our previous rudeness. However, just then, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal and the Cloud Sword Dragon, who had just left, rushed over upon hearing the sound. When they arrived and saw the bodies around them, they couldn't help but show a serious expression. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal could only sigh. Our Jiangnan sect truly owes you a great debt. But the man disagreed with his words. It's not like that, senior. I am merely protecting my blood relatives. After a long silence, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal still shook his head. No, Huia is the pillar of our sect after Myo Hua. By this reasoning, we have indeed received the young hero's favor. Seeing this, the man no longer spoke much and gently set his knees down. Although it may be a bit presumptuous to say so, may I take a moment to cultivate here? As soon as these words were spoken, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal and the Cloud Sword Dragon were taken aback. But the man remained immersed in his own words. You all need not deliberately avoid me. Having just observed the sword marks on the mountain wall, I can't shake off some insights. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal immediately showed an excited expression. It seems you have some understanding of that set of techniques. At this moment, the man had already turned to look back at the cliff, slowly drawing his long sword from its sheath. Thanks to the encounter with the sword sect, I was able to gain enlightenment on this set of techniques. As the man's long sword was drawn from its sheath, a golden light appeared before everyone. Golden threads surrounded his body. Seeing this scene, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal was completely captivated by it. But the man then stopped his movements. My true energy cannot flow freely. Then he turned to the people of the Jiangnan sect, the legacy of the sword sect's predecessors. I will not claim it for myself. Those sword marks seem to say that the path of the sword must be walked this way, with an open mind. I have thus received guidance. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal immediately nodded. It is said that the great masters who founded sects left behind traces that contain spiritual energy. This means transcending the boundaries of martial arts and techniques. The predecessors of the sword sect must have been the same. You resonated with him. This is the mutual appreciation between geniuses. The man quickly inquired. I heard that he lived in the Jiangnan sect in his later years. He must have had exchanges with the masters of the Jiangnan sect. The sword techniques of the Jiangnan sect are too intense and do not resonate with me. Even if I force myself to learn, it would be difficult to improve. The Cloud Sword Dragon immediately stepped forward and asked, Young hero, could you elaborate on your meaning? The man answered directly, able to reproduce the 9 Yang style. Only the Sword Dragon hero can do it. I might be able to help a little. Upon hearing this, the Cloud Sword Dragon was extremely shocked. Help me reproduce the sword techniques. Young hero, you serious about this? At this moment, the man turned and walked towards the mountain wall. Please wait a moment. My training is not yet complete. Then he drew his long sword again. seeing the sword marks on the mountain wall. Let me experience a wonderful journey. The world turned upside down, transformed into a line. For me, everything is inspiration. If it's just about drawing the sword quickly, it's hardly considered top-notch swordsmanship. Now, I seem to understand the path I need to take. Until now, I have truly begun to understand the sword in my hand. At this moment, with every swing of his sword, it contained the sword intent of the universe. Seeing this scene, the Central South Sword Immortal couldn't help but shed tears. As he swung his last sword, the entire world changed color. When he stopped his movements, a voice from behind called out the name of the sword technique. Have you made up your mind? After a moment of silence, the man spoke up. I have decided to name it the Radiant Sword. Flow, may my life also shine like the light that illuminates the world. Never extinguish. In the room at night, the man couldn't help but sigh. This journey has been quite rewarding. Not only did I rescue Zier, but I also created my own sword technique. Zuanyuan also had a satisfied expression. Thanks to you, young hero, for your blessings. I can enjoy such treatment in the Central South sect. At this moment, a voice interrupted their conversation. Young hero, you should be in your room now, right? Standing outside the door was none other than the Cloud Sword Dragon. Myohua, I came to find you, to hear about the unfinished story from last time. The man immediately reacted. Are you talking about the sword marks left by the senior of the sword sect? Myohua nodded. Although I feel guilty towards my sect, I want to break free from the shadow of the sword sect senior, a hero in the way of the sword. In these two fields, I must carve out my own path. What I want is to rely on myself to become a grand master. Upon hearing this, the man, after a long silence, said, I will support you. Myohua immediately revealed a long-lost smile. The female hero just glanced as the man practiced his sword, which left the renowned Cloud Sword Dragon utterly astonished, even willing to lower himself to seek the sword technique, promising to serve the man for life once he mastered it. Upon hearing this, the man was also stunned on the spot. I didn't expect the other party to make such a promise. The next moment, he turned and walked towards the woods. See, Dragon Hero, there's no need for that. I already promised to teach you the 9 Yang technique. Upon hearing this, Myohua was taken aback. I didn't expect the other party to not mention any requests, and just pass on such a technique. At the same time, in the distance, the Central South Sword Immortal relied on his strong inner strength to observe the two. When the two arrived at an open area, the man immediately looked at the other party. Now, I will first tell you the incantation of this technique. Myohua was shocked and pale. He only glanced at the wall and comprehended the incantation. It's unbelievable. At this moment, the man noticed the other party's shock and quickly explained that although it is an incantation, it should be different from the previous ones. Some parts may need you, the Dragon Hero, to perfect them yourself. But just this alone also left Myohua incredibly shocked. There truly exists a genius with such talent in this world. However, Myohua's expression made the man think that Myohua still didn't understand his words. He quickly explained again that after I tell you the incantation, it will depend on you. It shouldn't be very difficult. Let's start now. Soon, a night passed. The next day, the Central South Sword Immortal approached the man. I heard that Myohua fell into a mental demon after hearing your incantation. I think he was shocked by your talent. That kid is unmatched among his peers in Shaanxi, a prodigy like no other. He has always been praised by those around him as the #1 martial arts prodigy in the world. But after witnessing you yesterday, he realized how mediocre he is compared to you, because you showed him what a true genius is. Upon hearing this, the man was stunned. But this is meaningless. The Dragon Hero is a master for stronger than me. The Central South Sword Immortal immediately laughed. If he had your kind of thinking, then he probably wouldn't have fallen into a mental demon. Just then, a voice interrupted their conversation. At this moment, Myohua came running towards them, as if he had fully recovered. The Central South Sword Immortal smiled as he watched Myohua approach. "It seems you overcame it quite quickly." Myohua immediately responded, "I will do my best. Since I have already obtained the incantation from young hero Zheng, I should be able to try practicing the sword technique. Could you study the 9 Yang technique with me? We can learn from each other's shortcomings. This way, we might progress faster." The man directly refused upon hearing this. "I am truly sorry. I don't even have enough time to practice my own sword technique. But since we are of the same origin, it should be fine to observe each other's sword techniques. So when I practice the radiant sword style, you can watch from the side." Upon hearing this, Myohua was greatly shocked. "You want me to watch you practice martial arts? I actually still have a chance to witness you practicing the radiant sword style." Myohua quickly spoke up. This kind of attitude can be called a true hero. Even the Central South Sword Immortal couldn't help but speak up. Such a broad-mindedness, truly a hero's generosity. At this moment, the man finally reacted. He recalled what Ma Zhen had told him, that he must never watch others practice martial arts. This could potentially lead to a life and death duel. Although in the demon-wide meaning we all practiced martial arts together, that is different from the outside world. True martial arts practice must never be shown to others. Watching others practice martial arts is an absolute taboo in the martial world. It seems my earlier words have caused them to misunderstand, but now that it has come to this, the man could only draw his long sword. In the next moment, he swung his sword. Myohua also followed the man's sword light and began to swing. Just as he started to swing the long sword, the man felt something different. The true energy of the radiant sword style flows completely different from the beginning. Hua Wei Jik. The true energy of the radiant sword style is continuous, endless. As he gradually swung the sword, the man and the long sword in his hand merged into one. It was as if the long sword in his hand was a part of his body. Myohua was also incredibly shocked upon seeing this. Clearly at the beginning, my understanding of the 9 Yang technique was above his. Now, at first glance, the Shadow Flash Sword technique seems a bit clumsy, but if you get close to him, you will find his sword technique is exceptionally fierce. Now he is like a dragon about to ascend to the heavens. The heroine of Jiangnan never expected that the child she saved back then would now come to Jiangnan Mountain and restore the martial arts of her husband, who passed away 100 years ago. Could this be fate? The good karma formed back then is now coming back to repay me. At this moment, sitting below, the son of the sword sect and the heroine is also quietly observing the man. Moreover, he is now the leader of the Jiangnan sect, establishing the emperor and becoming a demon. In a broad sense, the flash movement. I heard you learned your late father's ultimate skill, and you taught the technique to Myohua. Furthermore, you saved the future of the Jiangnan sect in a critical situation. Hearing all this after returning is truly shocking. I'll be straightforward. What reward do you want? At this moment, the man looks ahead with a determined gaze. Please allow me to assist in the fight. When the sword sect said this, both people in the room were extremely shocked. At this time, outside the training ground, Myohua is still continuously practicing the 9 Yang technique the man taught him. As he keeps swinging the sword, mysterious lights appear around his body, but just as the sword reaches a good state, his sword momentum suddenly gets stopping in place. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal then slowly walks out. Myohua, it seems you still can't concentrate. Is it because of the flash shadow issue? Myohua was stunned for a moment and replied dejectedly, yes. It's my own problem. It's not that I'm jealous of his talent, but I have completely lost any thought of surpassing him. I suddenly feel that I work so hard, but still can't compare to him, making my learning feel meaningless. Moreover, according to my observations, the brilliance of the flash shadow sword flow Isn't it on par with the 9-yang technique? He's simply too talented. It's just that the time we've practiced together, he has improved a lot. Just creating such profound martial arts is already hard to believe, but he has no experience. The martial arts he is practicing for the first time. His achievements have already far surpassed mine. Upon hearing this, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal slowly spoke. Yes, that child has already achieved your goal. Shanying is a genius among geniuses. He can now be called a Grand Master. However, the martial arts he created himself. It's only natural that he is skilled at them. Everything in the world is like this. The most suitable things are naturally those created by the Creator. My Ohua couldn't help but sigh. It seems he possesses a rare talent in the world. Even I cannot compare to him. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal shook his head. Living in the same era as such a Grand Master, as long as you maintain a good mindset, it's fine. Take you, for example. Haven't you learned the 9-yang technique now? There's also something I didn't want to mention. Shanying. That child is communicating with nature at the Bai Hui point, overly absorbing the power between heaven and earth. This level of power, even a peerless master would find it hard to bear. My Ohua was suddenly taken aback. What do you mean by this? At this moment, the Jiangnan Sword Immortal slowly revealed the man's secret. He has little time left. Even so, he is still fighting desperately, as if he wants to leave his mark in this world. At this moment, My Ohua was so shocked by these words that she couldn't speak. The Jiangnan Sword Immortal turned and left. Regardless of martial arts level or age, I have developed a sense of admiration for that child. During the time the two were communicating, the man had already followed the main force of the Jiangnan sect and arrived at the battlefield. Looking at the leader of the Baiyan sect, who almost killed him back then, the man felt no fear in his heart. Zuanyuan immediately fixed his gaze on the person leading the front. This person is Zheng Xiaoxia, your enemy, right? The man looked at Zuanyuan, and a smile appeared on his face. Clearly, he could have chosen not to take action, yet you are still willing to accompany me here. Suddenly, a person jumped out from the Baiyan sect ahead, shouting that the third disciple of the sect leader has appeared. Which rising star from your Jiangnan sect dares to come out and take my sword? The man saw this, immediately turned to look at the sect leader. As a guest who has helped the Jiangnan sect greatly, I request again, please allow me to fight as a guest of the Jiangnan sect. At this moment, My Ohua, who arrived at the battlefield, was stunned. He suddenly recalled the words spoken by the Jiangnan Sword Immortal. It was as if he wanted to leave his mark in this world. The sect leader of Jiangnan spoke to the man without hesitation. Go ahead, our esteemed guest. After the man received permission, he leaped up from the crowd without hesitation. The scene was incredibly heroic in My Ohua's eyes. That Grand Master who burned himself to right the traces of life was right before my eyes. What an impressive young man. Seeing the man walk out of the crowd, the disciples of the Baiyan sect burst into laughter. The Jiangnan sect has indeed run out of luck. When he saw the man's face clearly, he immediately reacted. I know you now. You are that kid from the Zheng family village. I should have killed you back then, but now that you can stand before me, it counts as your luck. If what you believe is still the same as last time, then that would be truly regrettable. This is a life and death duel. Even if your grandfather is the leader of the Divine Sword Group, so what? He cannot intervene. The ramblings of this jumping clown before me. The man did not listen to a word, but stared intently at the sect leader of the Baiyan sect, slowly drawing out his long sword. The man simply swung his sword, and unexpectedly changed the battle situation between the two major sects, even causing the Peijian sect, which was besieging the Jiangnan sect, to feel fear. And the man boldly declared that he would sever the arm of the Peijian sect leader. At this moment, the disciples of the Peijian sect saw the man actually ignored what he said. Instantly furious, his figure flashed, charging straight at the man. You guy! Dare to be distracted while fighting me? Facing this sudden attack from the man showed no fear at all, slowly raised his long sword to block the attack. But just this lift of the sword actually caused a huge impact. The battlefield was instantly thrown into chaos. At this moment, the disciples of the Pagian sect were still shamelessly looking at the man, sneeringly said, "Kid, long time no see. Now, you have some skills." But the man spoke calmly and steadily. "A master of a certain ethnic group once told me that you can tell a person's abilities from their sword aura. It was only after I learned proper swordsmanship that I understood what he meant." In the next moment, the man's long sword shone brightly, with streams of sword aura continuously spreading out. This is precisely the radiant sword style. When the man exerted a little force with his long sword, he directly knocked this disciple of the Pagian sect away. Before this person could react, a beam of sword light instantly sliced across his neck. Such a fast movement, even the experts from both sects did not react in time, and that disciple of the Pagian sect was still in a daze for a few seconds before he regained his senses. But by then, what awaited him was a severed head. At this moment, the man did not even look back at the already dead person, staring intently ahead. His long sword pointed straight at the leader of the Pagian sect. "I will chop off one of your arms." At this time, the Zhongnan sect was already in an uproar. His name is Flash Shadow 8, truly deserving of the title. His radiant sword style is indeed well deserved. So powerful. Truly a sword technique that is both mysterious and magnificent, and its power is astonishing. In contrast, the Pagian sect was the opposite, all showing expressions of disbelief. "This is impossible. How could the third elder be unable to fight back against a little kid, without any ability to retaliate?" Soon, they were blinded by anger, rushing forward. "Let's go and kill them all." In an instant, the disciples of the Pagian sect took out their weapons, charging towards the Zhongnan sect. Seeing this, the disciples of the Zhongnan sect were not afraid at all, taking out their weapons and pouncing towards the enemy. An elder from the Pagian sect jumped out, heading straight towards the direction of the man. "You bastard! I will kill you." Seeing the other party like this, the man secretly thought it was not good. "This guy is not a master I can deal with right now. Could he be the grandfather of that kid from earlier?" The man immediately mocked. "You didn't teach him very well, did you?" He was defeated after just 2 exchanges. In just the time it took for the man to say one sentence, the opponent had already arrived in front of him, swinging his long sword. But in the next moment, the Zhongnan sword immortal flashed from behind. His long sword aimed straight at the elder in front, instantly pushing him back. The Zhongnan sword immortal stood protectively in front of the man, until the disciples of the Zhongnan sect gathered. Did they charge towards the Pagian sect? "Kid, thanks to you in this war, I managed to win 2 layers." Soon, both sides fell into chaos, leaving the man standing alone in the back, not knowing what to do. Since this is a battlefield, one cannot show off. It's best to find an enemy I can handle. At this moment, the disciples of the Pagian sect also noticed the man, gathered a group, and charged at him. "First, kill this kid." Seeing this, the man did not hesitate, immediately unleashed the radiant sword flow. His figure flashed like beams of light, constantly darting around. With each flash of sword light, a life was reaped. As the sword lights continued around him, the disciples of the Pagian sect fell one after another. The man merely glanced at the sword techniques of the Pagian sect, elder, and surprisingly grasped the weaknesses of the opponent's moves. Even using the identity of the white clad of the royal city, he killed the top expert of the evil sect. Such an achievement is something even the main force of the sect would find difficult to accomplish. After the first battle ended, the elder of the Zhongnan sect continuously thanked the man. "Thanks to your great display of power, young hero, we were able to win this time, mainly because you took the initiative, overwhelming them in momentum." The man felt a bit embarrassed by the praise. "You flatter me. It is also due to the strength of the Jiangnan sect. I have heard that many people in the sect want to talk to you, young hero, but they are just too shy. But that is a matter for later. However, there is one thing that is very important to you. If you want to know the truth behind the extermination of the Zheng family, I can tell you, and your second brother already knows. But I think it's better to wait until after the great battle to discuss it. The man's eyes showed a hint of astonishment at this moment, but he still responded that he would follow your lead. Soon, the two factions arrived at the final showdown. The old man whose grandson was killed by the man last time stared intently ahead at the man wearing the clothes of the royal city of strength. The Jiangnan sword immortal also felt a bit of a headache at this sight. This time, it won't be easy to deal with. Even a few old guys from the Elder Council have all come out, but if we win this time, we can end this war. However, Shanying, you need to be very careful this time. Brother 8, the Rakshasa sword. You killed his grandson yesterday. At that time, although I helped block him for you, I could clearly sense that he wanted to kill you all along. His seniority is even higher than that of the swordmaster of the Peijian sect. You could even say he is the right-hand man of every generation's sect master. Upon hearing this, the man secretly noted the other party's gratitude for the elder's reminder. I will be careful. At this moment, the leader of the Jiangnan sect pointed his long sword at the Peijian sect. Both sides immediately understood. The disciples rushed towards the open ground. The sounds of shouting and clashing weapons echoed continuously. The man also took the opportunity to charge into the battlefield, constantly reaping the lives of the Peijian sect disciples. Suddenly, a powerful aura locked onto the man. He instantly reacted, quickly stopping the attack of his long sword, and looked back. He saw an elder from the Peijian sect, looking fiercely at the man. Today, I will definitely not let you go. I want to take your head to honor my grandson. The man, however, calmly looked at the other party. Is this how all you evil sects are? If you don't deal with the experts of the Jiangnan sect, your disciples will be killed by them. How cold-blooded. The elder was instantly enraged, waving his knife towards the man. First, I will chop you into pieces before we talk. Facing such a powerful expert strike, the man quickly gathered all his internal energy to block the attack. But the elder's attack did not end. His palm swung up and directly struck towards the man. In desperation, the man could only use his internal energy to meet the elder's palm. Even so, the man was directly knocked back several meters. After just one exchange, he couldn't muster his strength. He is too strong. With my current strength, I am completely no match for him. What should I do? Suddenly, a figure flashed in, the long sword thrusting straight at the elder. This person was none other than the Cloud Sword Dragon. Seeing the man's situation was dire, he led the disciples to come to the rescue. Upon seeing this, the man could finally relax and adjust his internal energy. I need to remember all of his sword techniques, how he holds the sword, how his muscles move when channeling sword energy, the actions and habits of releasing energy, and the footwork he uses. All the intricacies must be remembered without missing a single detail. At this moment, the battle between the Cloud Sword Dragon and him had also reached a fever pitch. But at this time, the man noticed something was off with the elder. His posture indicates he wants to take them both down. As the Cloud Sword Dragon swung his sword, cutting towards the elder's arm, he did not block it at all. With his other arm, internal energy gathered and fiercely struck towards the Cloud Sword Dragon's abdomen. Although the sword strike caused the elder to lose an arm, the Cloud Sword Dragon was directly knocked to the ground by this palm strike, severely injured and unable to continue. It seems the legendary Cloud Sword Dragon truly lives up to its name. But this is where it ends for you. To die by my blade is your honor. In the next moment, the elder swung the long knife in his hand. Suddenly, a blue figure attacked from behind, instantly appearing behind the elder. I have been waiting for this moment. This posture is meant to execute the first move of his sword technique. In the next moment, the man's figure flashed by. In an instant, a sword light swept across the old man's body. One could see the elder, known as the right-hand man of the sword sect. His body was bleeding profusely. His body was directly sliced in half by the man's earlier sword strike.